Good morning, everybody. Hello. Alrighty. Okay. Woo! Woo! Hee! Ha! Whoo! All right, let's dance. I'm so tired. Good morning, everybody. Hi, hello. Yes, we're a bright and early stream here. Bright and early. Yes, we are. Never expect to see a streamer before 10 a.m. Well, I'm here. I got up at 6:15. Where's the boy? Oh, he's sleeping. He's in bed with his dad. They're both very cozy in bed, sleeping away. What is happening? Caroline's an early bird. So, the reason I'm streaming right now, well, I have been trying to do more morning streams because I like to catch the morning crowd. I like to catch my EU voters. Oh, Jesus. I like to catch my EU voters. Okay. I'm running for president of streamers. I like to catch people East Coast, Central, who I know when I stream late at night, they can't catch my streams all the time. So once Will and I moved into our new place and I was going to have my own stream room, I was like, okay, it'll be easier for me to do morning streams every once in a while because I don't have to stream. I don't have to stream out of my bedroom, which doesn't work. Have you heard about Austin's comments on Farley? Why the fuck is everybody speaking on my son? They better be good comments or I will do a hate crime. It is not too early for me to do a hate crime, let me tell you, okay? It's already 7:30 in the morning. So, don't even try me. So I have to, after stream, I have to leave and then go film my podcast. Are you taking NMP lol streaming? Slot is so good. Yeah, because apparently he couldn't figure out there was no starting stream button in his OBS, but thank goodness I have mine. So yes, I'm coming for NMP's morning slot. That's what I'm doing. But anyway, so I have to do, I'm like so out of breath. This is such a thing whenever I do morning streams, I am instantly out of breath. I'm like, hey everybody, good morning. How are we doing? How's everyone? Hi. I hope everybody's well. I got a lot planned for you. We got a lot of news. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I just went for a run. And that's why I sound like this. That's why I'm out of breath. Yeah, my lungs know I slept for only 4 hours. My lungs are like, bitch, what are you doing? Get some nose strips? Oh my God, no, I'm so on the nose strips. No. It's just because I didn't sleep enough last night. But let me tell you, I am so on the nose strips. This is my new thing. I discovered nose strips because of Ashton. No, I knew about nose strips, but I'm not kidding you. I watched Ashton Hall's video and I was like making fun of it. And then it actually inspired me to use nose strips. So go figure. And it has totally changed my life. Like I've been using nose strips every single night since. Life changing. Oh God, you were online when I went to bed. I thought you were still online. No. Yeah, I'm like, hi, just a casual 13-hour stream. No. I went to bed. Well, first I watched the recent White Lotus episode. And then I went to bed. And then I slept for 4 hours. I woke up. I'm going to be here. I got to go to a podcast. And then I have to do a call for an upcoming show that I'm doing, which I'm excited to tell you guys about. Not now, but eventually. And then I have to go to, I'm going to a thing for Megan too. She's back. Or what's the one dance she does? She's like, Megan's back, baby. But yeah, I am so. Oh, hold on. It's time to take the rope. The Hugh Hefner robe. We're gonna lose that. But one thing that's really nice about having my stream room and being able to do morning streams is that I don't have to miss going to events at night now, because unfortunately, for the most part, I'm an evening streamer. And by for the most part, like the whole part, I'm an evening streamer. But if I want to be able to stream, then I have to like say no to a lot of things. And there are events that are always popping up where I really want to be going to them and like meeting people and hopefully getting to do cool stuff from meeting people. And also occasionally if I have like personal things pop up, to not have to worry about missing stream. If I can stream in the morning, even if I'm dead tired, I would prefer that I can get a stream in so that I don't get stressed out about missing streams. Yeah, Carter, you have the craziest schedule. You used to do 3 hours at 7 a.m. and 4 hours at 7 p.m. like 2 years ago. Insane. I remember when I first started streaming, Will was kind of trying to give me suggestions on it's like figuring out what time I was going to stream. And I said, well, I want to stream at night because you stream at night. And he said, and I didn't understand at the time, but he was like, okay, well, you know, there's going to be shared audience type thing and blah, blah, blah. But my thinking was you stream at night and we're both night people. And I don't want us missing seeing each other if we're streaming at different times. So I was like, I'll just stream at night. And nights are lovely. Don't get me wrong. Love nights. They're very cozy. We like to do chit-chatting and then get into gaming and stuff like that, which is great. But he had suggested, he's like, you could do what Carter does. And I was like, well, what does Carter do? And he goes, well, he'll stream mornings and nights, but like on the same day. And I remember thinking, oh, Carter is insane. Because that is insane. Then I felt less bad about missing night streams. Dude, that is brutal though. Like, look, I can handle my schedule doing a morning stream, you know, maybe once, twice a week, and then everything else is night streams. But doing morning and night is crazy. Wild. Schwild. Yeah, so this, you know, I've kind of been, since we moved, I've done a couple morning streams here and there. And so this will be a thing. I just like haven't figured out if it's going to be, like a consistent every, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, I do morning streams. I have no idea yet. Right now, it's kind of like when I know I have things at night, then I will plan to try and do a morning stream. But it also doesn't work if I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep a night. Like I already know I'll be shocked. Does not work. But yeah, I think once or twice a week is good. And really the benefits to doing morning streams is, as I said, I get to catch my audience who can't always make the night streams because I am West Coast and I start stream usually around 6 o'clock Pacific time. So if you are, if you're EU, if you're East Coast, Central time, you can't really make the streams. So it's nice to be able to kind of like, oh, here's the other side of the community. And then there's those of you who I don't fucking know what your sleep schedule is, but you're there at night and then you're showing up in the morning. Like, dude, what? Have you slept? What? What? Unless it's still, let's see, unless when I start stream for you, it's morning. So technically it's night. You just sleep when you're dead. She forgets I live in India. No, I forget time differences. That's what I don't know I don't know all the time zones. I did not sleep since your last stream. It's 3 a.m. right now. Okay, so I guess when I last got offline, it would have been like maybe like 7 p.m. So maybe it's almost time to go to bed. 10 p.m. here in the Philippines. Yeah, I love you. I love that you guys are all over the place. On company time, thank you for the 22 months. Brigitte, thank you for the 3. Knocked Ox, thank you for the 31. Your usual streams are like 6 to 7 a.m. for me. And right now it's 8 p.m. Okay, so you're an early riser. Yeah. It's okay. Actually, in all honesty, sometimes I do think every single person here is in LA. Like, you guys all are in LA, right? We're all West Coast. We're all West Coast night owls. Lots of the Quantarage have insomnia or work night shifts. This is true. This is true. And that's why, like, I do want to keep my night shift, because I know that, I know a lot of people at night are working or they have insomnia, so they cannot sleep. I watched you last night, went to bed, woke up, and I'm watching you on my way to work at school. So anyway, happy to be here. Good morning, everybody. I did not dream of Shrek. No, I did not. Thank God. Thank God I did not dream of Shrek. Like, what the fuck? Can you, no. Oh, geez. Oh, now I'm thinking about it again. Oh, no. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Oh, God. Oh, you learn something new every day. And sometimes it's not good. Sometimes, is this the clip from last night? Let me see. Okay, so if you weren't here last night, I learned what Shrek is love, Shrek is life is, because I'm always learning things. Okay, I am a person who thinks it's very important to learn something new every day, and so I learned about the term Shreked, like you got Shreked. Okay, so that's a new thing in here. And then I learned about, what the fuck? Where am I? There I am. And then I learned about Shrek is love, Shrek is life, which a lot of people in chat were begging me not to learn about. But I learned it, and then I went to go tell Will what I had learned. Like I was a child coming to my parent and being like, this is what we learned in history class.
Oh my god.
What do you want from me?
How's the trip going?
I'm saying bye.
You want to talk about how Shrek fucked that 9-year-old?
Are you
What do you
done?
want to do?
Cook, Jimmy! Cook!
He was not having it. Okay, I'd gone in there and I was like, let me tell you about something I learned. Do you know about Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life? Do you know about /B? Blah, blah, blah. He was not interested, okay? He just wanted to play the drug dealer game. And so, so this is the end of that.
Cook! Come back, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how Shrek fucked that 9-year-old. That's what you want. That's what you want.
No, I don't want to talk about Shrek fucking the 9-year-old. I'm saying bye.
Okay. Leave Farley. I don't like him in the house with you alone. Take the house. You're bad influence.
You get over there?
He said, I don't like Farley in the house with you alone. Like I'm some psychopath.
Still streaming?
I had to beat up Tim.
Make me
He's not
something.
cooking.
Let's talk about Shrek.
Oh, God.
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
You just farted and waving at me?
No, okay, I did not, by the way. I just want to state for the record, I absolutely did not. I pointed very directly, like what do you want? What do you want? He's always accusing me of things. No, I'm not the gas leak in the house, okay? There's a constant gas leak in there's a constant gas leak in our house, and it is not me. Okay? So if I wake up dead one day, it's because the gas leak got me. When are you going to make some drugs? I'm going to make some drugs soon. Don't worry. I couldn't make, so I was supposed to make drugs last week, and then I had to go to Chicago. But the plan is to get into drug dealing soon. So we have that coming up. Okay? And I am going to be the best drug dealer that anybody has ever seen. I'm going to do drugs, sell them like no one ever has before. We're going to gaslight gatekeep girl boss. Okay, lean in, baby. Lean in. Walter White. Yes, Walter White. That's who I'm going to be. Oh, speaking of drugs, and then let's get into some stuff because got a lot of stuff to cover. But has anybody been watching the show Dope Thief? It's with Brian Tyree Henry. I think it's on Apple TV. It's really good. I just started it. I'm always looking for a new show. It's this Dope Thief. Two lifelong friends pose as DEA agents to rob a house, only to have their small-time grift become a life and death enterprise as they reveal and unravel a big hidden narcotics corridor on the eastern seaboard. It's so good. Brian Tyree Henry, he's kind of that guy. He's like maybe he's kind of maybe one of my favorite actors that I don't necessarily think of all the time. But when I see him in something, I'm like, oh, this is going to be better because of him. And then Wagner Moura, he's great too. He was in Narcos recently, Civil War last year, if you watched that. Apple TV has another banger. Let me say, Apple TV kind of has some bangers. Okay? They're a little quiet about it, but when I'm looking at like where some of my fave shows at the moment are, Apple TV, kind of that girl. The Studio, unbelievable. Such a good show. I need you guys, if you are in this community, which you all are, if you're in this community, if you participate in any of these conversations around Hollywood, the entertainment industry, I need you to watch this show because it just will make everything make more sense. And you'll be like, aha. I mean, literally, what is happening at Warner Brothers right now with CEO David Zaslav and then the heads of the studio is the plot of the studio. It's like, look at this headline. If you've watched the studio, look at this headline. David Zaslav wants Warner Brothers focus on big IP instead of filmmaker-driven projects. It's giving Kool-Aid Man. It's giving Kool-Aid Man. And the new John Hamm show is also on Apple TV about to come out. Yeah, Apple TV, like I said, kind of that girl right now. Severance season 2 is done, but they have some other bangers on there, so don't be sleeping. I'm just waiting on Adam McKay's next podcast. His first 2, Death on the Wing and Death on the Lot, were so damn good. Yeah, I wish he had been at the podcasting award show I was just at, because I would have pounced. I would have been like, hi, come on my stream. Is Catherine Hahn a main character? Yes. Catherine Hahn is so fucking funny in the studio with her big ass glasses and just how, I mean, the energy in that show is just giving coked out, but her in particular is giving, I just railed 5 lines before this meeting. Did you see Coyote vs. Acme is getting released? I did see that. It's very exciting news. I was actually gonna, so because my podcast is pop culture, sometimes I like save topics for the podcast, and then sometimes I save them for the stream, and then sometimes I do both. But I was actually thinking of doing that for my Let Me Know segment because it's a good one. Except now Val Kilmer died, so I have to talk about Val Kilmer. Oh God, my Let Me Know segment on the podcast really has just become who's died, who's dead, which icon has died this week, and I'm gonna tell Sam all about him. But I think I still want to bring up Coyote versus Acme. So it's always something where it's like, if I don't talk about it on the podcast, then I'll make sure to talk about it on stream. You need to launch a Caroline Reaper segment in the pod. I know, it's like I need another segment on top of Let Me Know, because the Let Me Know segment was so for my podcast with Sam, the Let Me Know segment is supposed to be, hey, here's this thing that happened this week, and I'm gonna let you know about it. And mine have just turned into, here's who died. So I'm like, maybe I need to do a different segment of here's who died, like a weekly in memoriam. People keep dropping like flies, but it's not the people that I want to die. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean by that? It's like, why isn't it that the people who I'd like to die aren't dying? You know? Their time is up. It's time to go. Yeah, that's the title of it. Why aren't the people who I want to die dying, and instead cultural icons keep dying? Yeah, unlike Laurie Strode saying evil dies tonight, evil is not dying tonight, and instead we've lost another titan of the industry. We've lost another cultural icon. Evil did not die tonight yet again. Evil never dies. Why doesn't evil die? I had a dream Mitch McConnell died last night and woke up to seeing Val Kilmer died. Not even joking. That is awful. Like, you have this dream and you wake up and you're like, and then you see the news that Batman died. and he was only 65. Yeah. One swag cat, thank you for the 7 months. Yeah. Didn't know Val was sick, but still sad. Yeah, I don't even think he had made a public appearance for like 5 years. Because he was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014 and pretty much couldn't really speak after that. His voice was really damaged. And then he ended up passing from pneumonia. I pulled a little video on him. We talked about him last night. We watched some clips and stuff as the news came in that he had died, but I'd also like to watch a little video on him. And people made fun of him for the snowman. You know, I just have to say, people making fun of celebrities who are sick. I mean, just obviously making fun of people in general, having no empathy in general for people. So I don't expect much. But it's like, the thing you have to remember too is celebrities are people who have the spotlight on them. They're the people who public conversation revolves around. So when you're saying really cruel things about a Michelle Trachtenberg who was sick and who recently died, if you're saying cruel things about Chadwick Boseman, who it turned out he had stage 4 cancer, saying really cruel things about Val Kilmer, whose health had taken a downward turn and it affected his physical appearance and affected his voice. It's so gross. It reeks of ableism that's acceptable because they're rich and famous. Yeah, it's just this idea of like, oh, these aren't real people. These aren't real people. So I don't have to worry about not being a piece of shit. Where these are people, okay? Celebrities are not gods. They are human beings. And so it's not good to treat them with such cruelty, especially when they are going through something that is quite devastating to their health. And the other thing is that, okay, maybe you don't think celebrities are people, which they are, but these conversations and the way that we talk about celebrities has a reflection then on how we treat the rest of us. You know? And it's why a lot of celebrities, when they become disabled, when they get sick with something, they end up retreating into private life because, one, it's too difficult to maintain a career in Hollywood, and two, because they want the privacy. They want the privacy because nothing good comes from being sick as a celebrity and what the public has to say about you. I mean, the thing is, okay, there's a lot to criticize someone like Selena Gomez on, but the comments around Selena Gomez, who has had a very public battle with lupus, and if you know anything about steroids, if you know anything about the steroid prednisone, which my mother and my roommate have a lot of experience with prednisone, it makes your face very round. It is one that alters your physical appearance. And so that's the type of thing where it's like, there's a lot of people who have autoimmune diseases who are on a steroid like prednisone. And so seeing the cruelty around someone like Selena Gomez's appearance constantly, that's going to have an impact on normies, on regular people who are going through something similar and feel very self-conscious about it. Like, that was one thing that my roommate, who has rheumatoid arthritis, that was one thing that I knew always killed her confidence, was when she had to be on prednisone, made her face very round, made her look heavy in a way that she just she didn't like the way that she looked when she was on it. And I remember that she would talk about how she would see all the comments around Selena Gomez And she's like, damn, I wonder what they say. I wonder what people in my life say about me. Like, I wonder when I post a photo on Instagram, how the people who follow me, how they talk about me, the mean comments that they say, right? It's just kind of that mentality. Yeah. I was on it for 10 years as a kid for arthritis. It sucks. Makes you gain a lot of weight, especially in the face. And if there's one thing the public loves to comment on, it is celebrities gaining weight. Yep. It's an insidious thought spiral. It really is. Okay, let's watch Parker Posey and then get into some news.
You're such a darling girl.
This is from The White Lotus. Finale is next week.
You're young. You're beautiful. Why are you with this middle-aged weirdo? Does he have a lot of money? You can't ask that. Come to North Carolina. I could introduce you to some respectable men. They would eat you up. I actually love Rupert. Are you scared of him? I could get you out of this.
I don't care what anybody says. Parker Posey is, she's that bitch. Okay, she gets it. She's constantly making me burst out laughing in the show. I will say. Like even though yes, her character hasn't really had any arc per se since the first episode, but she constantly delivers some of the best lines of dialogue on White Lotus. I have been begging Cutie to watch this show. I'm like, please watch White Lotus. Sam has not started White Lotus yet, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Cutie and try and force her to watch this show so I can talk to somebody about it. Okay, I want to get into some news, starting with, who the hell are these people? Does anybody know who Emergency Intercom is? I guess they have like a decently big, they have a pretty decent YouTube presence. They have 500,000 subscribers. This is a podcast by Anya Umanzor and Drew Phillips, where we hopefully give out laughter from our attempts at getting maximum attention. They are ex-Viners. Okay. All right. Well, let me just play this clip I saw from a recent episode of theirs.
Fell the fuck off. You know who else fell off? You know who else fell the fuck off? You know who else fell off? Greta Thunberg. That bitch is in the gutters, bitch. Like, sorry, bitch. Like,
this is the type of man who I'm gonna take the word bitch away from. No. No, I don't think so. No.
Literally.
Kind of fucked up. Like, why didn't Loewe use her? But poor girl, she was fighting for a cause that she felt so strong for.
I think she's still fighting for it, but
poor girl was fighting for a cause that she felt so strong for. That it's like treating the causes that Greta Thunberg has been fighting for, which is climate change and Palestine, and basically, as she has grown up from being a teenage activist, has recognized that these are all interconnected. All of this is happening under capitalism, so she has really broadened her activism to being anti-capitalist. But it's like treating these causes as if Greta Thunberg's main thing is, I want to pass a bill that makes it illegal to leave your cart out after you've gone grocery shopping and you haven't put it back. It's like, oh, she cares about this thing so much. It's so sweet, but like, it's just, it's just a little thing. Oh, Greta. Oh, teenagers, how they, I mean, that would be nice. No, it's so condescending. It's really infantilizing. It's really condescending. And it's just like, I know that they think they're being funny here by being like, you know who fell off? Greta Thunberg. Yeah, that bitch fell off. That bitch fell off. And it's like, that bitch, first of all, she's now 22 years old. She's been doing this since she was literally a kid. And she has fallen off because liberal media no longer platforms her in the way that they used to. Because once she got involved with Palestine and once she started connecting everything under the system of capitalism and went, you know, climate change is connected to what's happening in Palestine, which is connected to, you know, all the domestic issues in the United States and blah, 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 blah. The media was like, nope. Child, be gone. We can't have you anymore. And she has been out here getting arrested. She has been out here in protest. She has been out here, honestly, it is not that she fell off, okay? To use that internet slang is just really gross about someone like her. It's that her voice, her platform, her work is actively being suppressed.
Like 20 years, she'll probably
Fighting where? Because I don't see her. She was fighting for a cause that she felt so strong for.
I think
but
she's
like,
still fighting for it, but in like 20 years, she'll probably
fighting where? Because I don't see her.
Fighting where? Because I don't see her. Oh my God. Greta's obviously not fighting because I don't see her. It's like, first of all, I have a feeling you're not the type of person that is actively trying to even figure out what's happening with, say, Gaza. Okay, what's happening with Palestine. Secondly, as I said, Greta Thunberg is being actively suppressed. The state, in collaboration with the media, is no longer a fan of little climate activist Greta Thunberg.
Stepping out of our comfort zones and demanding an end to this suffering is a question of basic humanity, and we call on everyone to do so.
Greta, you fell off because seriously, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we don't, what?
What was that sentence? I'm sorry. It's giving dumbass. Greta, you fell off because, what? Man, this is when I just really fucking hate content creators. I really do, man. This is my job. This is my industry. And there are some really amazing content creators out there. There are some people who are doing truly incredible work, and it's very important. And then there are just dumbass TikTokers, dumbass ex-Viners, whoever the fuck these people are. And it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing to be in the same industry as these people. Greta, it's like, what?
Silence is complicity. You cannot be neutral in a genocide.
Hassan's been talking about this lately, where people seem to not have object permanence, and if they don't see something, you can't fathom that's actually going on. Yeah, so this has been, I would say, something that has ailed society for quite some time. It's kind of along the same lines as TikTok's all over them. This video is shitting them as 300,000 likes. It's kind of along the same lines as like when somebody, what is this fucking puzzle piece? Jesus fuck. When somebody first discovers something, okay, let's say they've learned about capitalism, and they go to Twitter and they're like, why isn't anybody talking about this thing called capitalism? This is crazy. This is making our lives so awful, blah, 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 blah. I can't believe no one's talking about this. You know how there's that kind of person online where they'll learn about a thing and then immediately go online and talk about that thing like nobody else has talked about that thing, that there's not like people who study that thing and have been studying that thing for a long time. It's kind of giving a little college freshman energy. Yes, I just learned about something, which is fine. Okay, great. Learning is good. Learning is very good. It's like, this is on the funnier end, but my mother, who thinks that she discovers pop artists, where she'll be like, have you heard of a singer called Billie Eilish? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. Do you know Billie Eilish? I'm like, yes, Mom. She has won many Grammys and is one of the most famous artists in the world. No. I just discovered her. And then later, my mom announced that Billie Eilish had sold out. This small indie artist that my mom had discovered, Billie Eilish, also sold out. Like in the same, yeah. It went from like conversation number one, oh my God, Billie Eilish, this indie artist I just discovered is so amazing. You have to listen to her. I was like, yes, Mom, I know Billie Eilish. I think almost everybody knows Billie Eilish. And then like a week later, sold out. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I was like, because she's suddenly so famous? Because a week ago she was small indie artist Billie Eilish, and now she's big time famous Billie Eilish in the span of the week that you've known about her. Oh God. My mom will text me a ton of shit all the time. Like, she just discovered the lost city of Atlantis. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I learned about this like a decade ago. Yes. And that's on like, that's on the funny side of the spectrum of this thing that people do. But yes, object permanence. It'll be like somebody will go in the comments of a tweet and be like, I don't hear you talking about this thing. So therefore, like, this tweet of yours is not about this particular issue. So therefore, you've never talked about this issue, or you don't care about this issue because I, a person who's reading this one tweet, do not see that in there. And you're like, oh, I'm so sorry that every single tweet that I make or every single thing that I say on stream is not saying every single thing at one time. My bad. I should learn how to do that. That's what the best streamers do. When they say something, they're actually saying every single thing at one time. That's something that I haven't learned how to do yet. Still pretty new. Hopefully I will be... Hopefully that's something that I can learn in the next year, is how to talk about every single thing when I'm talking about one thing in particular. It's a skill issue. Do you think courts would still hold value? I mean, the way Trump's planning to replace or pressurize judges seems so grim. I mean, yeah, yes. Like, the judge who just ruled that Mahmoud Khalil's case needs to return to New Jersey. I mean, unless Trump just tries to look, I'm not saying that the Trump administration is not taking action. Also, this is a different topic, but one that I was planning to talk about today if we have time. Of course, Abrego Garcia, the man who was just deported to El Salvador, and his wife didn't find out until she saw a picture of a guy with the same tattoos as him and had no idea where he had gone. And he was deported on false reasons, and the administration owned up to it. And they're still, though, going, actually, no, we're not, he's going to stay over there. And yeah, no, he is a criminal. He's not a criminal. Okay, why does TikTok not play sound immediately? TikTok, come on.
Happen to anybody who builds a platform off of being relatable and telling stories and overall just being a likable person is slowly becoming more and more out of touch as time goes on. That move to LA has ruined so many good content creators, and I just think we're seeing it happen most recently with Drew and Enya, the Emergency Intercom podcast. From what I understand, one of the biggest draws of their content was that they would talk about their personal lives and share personal stories, and they have like an outright reluctance to do that now, which is fine, they don't have to, but I feel like a big reason why they don't do that is every single person they know is another LA influencer with like bare minimum 500,000 followers. If you have like, for example, a bad date with someone and that person just so happens to be a YouTuber with 3 million subscribers, you can't tell your fans about it. But they haven't replaced that.
Which, let me tell you, unfortunately, is a thing in LA. Like, you will meet the worst person you've ever met, and then they have they're a YouTuber with 3 million followers.
That piece of their podcast with anything else. So they end up starting the podcast with no topics planned. They start waffling for an hour, and that's how you end up with horrible political takes like Greta Thunberg is washed up in a bitch. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who says that? I honestly think it's time to move on. Find a new podcast and start the cycle all over again.
Oh, God, this is just like, oh, God, so many content creators now. I swear to God, it's as if they have their old thing is used up, or they're like, okay, well, we want to be relevant, or we want to do something new. So they start giving political takes. Of course, they're apolitical though, right? They're not political commentators. They're apolitical. Does that sound familiar on this platform? And they will not only give political takes, but they will give heinous, so unbelievably misinformed takes to a massive audience. And God, there's just so many dumbasses. Jeez. Yeah, and I've said this before, but the reason content creators will say that they're apolitical, even when they absolutely are not giving apolitical in the content that they're doing, is because it's lower stakes. There's less pressure. If you say that you are a political commentator, then there is an expectation that you at least kind of know what you're talking about, that you are informed somewhat in the things that you are saying. And so if you say that you're not a political commentator, if you say that you're apolitical, oh, well, none of that matters then. None of it. And you also don't risk alienating your audience. As somebody on Twitch who from the get-go has said, I'm a pop culture and political commentator, I give my thoughts on pop culture and politics, that already reduces my ability to have a broader audience, because people who are like, I don't want to watch politics on Twitch. I don't want to listen to a commentator. I'm not here for that, which is fine. You know, Twitch is the beauty of a platform like Twitch is you have a variety of people doing a bunch of things. But what we've had happen is a lot of streamers, a lot of YouTubers, just content creators in general, who have absolutely waded into the arena and are trying to have it both ways. They're trying to be like, no, I don't do politics. I'm not a political streamer. I'm apolitical. Fuck politics. But also I'm going to say the most heinous thing that I can say. People really don't understand what politics is. Politics covers literally everything we do. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, if you are a sweaty streamer who nonstop talks about DEI and woke in gaming, that's political. You are not apolitical. Okay? If you if you have nothing but nice things to say about Aiden Ross, you're not apolitical. That's not neutral. Let me just be clear about that, okay? Say what you're going to say, but you have to be willing to stand on the fact that you are not, in fact, neutral. You are not being apolitical. It's the same thing with people saying keep sports non-political, but then vouch for any athlete who's pro-MAGA, right? It's like, shut up and dribble. Shut up and dribble. Except I actually am apolitical. For the record. The The only people who like centrists are centrists. Yeah, you know, it's why sometimes I'm like, at least MAGA people will own the fact that they're MAGA, you know? They're not like, I'm a centrist. Seamus Fett, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Con/Blitz, thank you for the 22 months. Caroling, it's like 8 a.m. What the fuck? I know, isn't it great? Melina, shut up. Thank you for the Prime. Oh, yeah. Both sides people might be the worst. I feel like Peach Jars was lambasted saying, "Oh, I know. I brought up her tweet yesterday because I went, this is how I feel too. It's like, did I miss something? Am I going crazy? Even though I know what's happening here. I know it's because right-wing sentiment, right-wing ideologies, so it's just everywhere now. Like that's how it be. And so that has led to a normalization of terrible people who say terrible things that is either, they're either platforming really harmful right-wing ideologues, or the things that they are saying are coming from are coming from the right. Yeah, it's fun. It's great. We love it. Love it here. All right. Let's talk about. You know what? This will get us. This will put us in a good mood. Elon Musk, what a fucking loser. What a loser. Look at this dumbass. I mean, how do you look at that guy and go, he's cool? Who looks at that guy? Who looks at him and is like, damn, that's the coolest guy ever? Elon Musk, man, wish I could be like him. Other losers, yes. Yeah. So Elon Musk is out millions of dollars. Not that that matters, but it is still important because it's in the context of the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. And you might be like, what's going on in Wisconsin? Why is this a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because Elon Musk literally tried to buy this Supreme Court seat. So he and Trump, through their support to the MAGA-friendly judge who was running for this seat, and Elon Musk offered up $1 million to 2 people, like a sweepstakes type of thing. He also paid people to sign a petition where they are against judges blocking Trump administration deportation rulings. And he has been wearing this stupid hat, going around Wisconsin, being like, everybody loves me. Actually, no, everybody hates you, Elon. It's like when you're in high school. Okay, so this happened to me one time where my friend was like, everyone hates you, and then I said, who? And she started naming people in theater. I was like, really, everyone hates me? And no, that was not the case. But unfortunately for Elon Musk, there is now ample proof. That's the thing. If there was proof that everyone had hated me, say in the sense that I tried to buy a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat and I spent millions of dollars doing so, and I was campaigning in Wisconsin, and then my candidate lost pretty badly, well, then I would go, you know what? Everyone in theater does hate me. The fact that he did this and is not in a jail cell being interrogated right now is baffling. But it is a sign. It is a sign that Elon Musk and all of his activities with Doge are not sitting right with people in a very important state like Wisconsin. Remember, Wisconsin's a state that gets a lot of attention every 4 years because of, well, every 4 years nationally because of its position as a battleground state. And I think we can take this as an indication that people really fucking hate Elon Musk. Did you cover Luigi getting the death penalty yet? Not yet.
Begin today's show in Wisconsin, where liberal Judge Susan Crawford defeated the Trump-backed Brad Schimmel for a seat on Wisconsin's state Supreme Court in the most expensive judicial election in U.S. history. Many view the race as a referendum on Elon Musk, the world's richest man and Trump megadonor, who's been heading the...
And I think the other thing, too, is that it was very transparent that Elon Musk was the richest man in the world was trying to buy this seat. And I think people saw through to that. Like, there was record turnout for this Supreme Court seat. Let me just remind everyone that in between presidential elections, turnouts are usually not that exciting, okay? It takes a special race for there to be this much activity, this much media coverage. And so the fact that so many people turned out to vote for a judge, which, yes, the Supreme Court is very important. State Supreme Courts are very, very important. But this really is an indication that Elon Musk is very hated and that people looked at him Milwaukee ran out of ballots. Yeah. People looked at him trying to buy this seat and went, no, I don't think so.
Trump administration's efforts to dismantle key federal agencies.
Sorry, whoever said, did you cover Luigi getting the death penalty? No. I know what that chatter meant. Pam Bondi is trying to seek the death penalty. Luigi has not officially, the trial hasn't happened. To be clear, no, there is no, oh my God, Luigi Mangione was just found guilty and is now facing the death penalty. No, we're trying to stop that from happening.
Judge Crawford won 55% of the vote, even though Musk spent over $25 million on the race to help elect Schimmel. On Sunday night, Musk gave out $1 million checks to 2 Wisconsin voters, one of whom happened to be the chair of the Wisconsin Federation of Young Republicans. Judge Crawford made a reference to Musk during her victory speech.
As a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. For justice in Wisconsin.
Dude, Elon Musk, you know how we use the insult of people who have to buy their friends? It's like, oh, did your mom and dad pay for these people to be your friends? That is Elon Musk, okay? His money who comes from his daddy, who's just such an evil piece of shit, who basically was like, yeah, we had black people around us. They were our slaves. That Elon Musk has to buy people. And even when he spends a lot of money, doesn't work. Does not work. Same thing goes for Jonah Platt. Jonah Platt. Oh, yeah. He's like my dad, Mark Platt. He's big time producer of big, enormous IP of Disney, hundreds of millions of dollars.
And we won. And Wisconsins stood up and said loudly that justice does not have a price. Our courts are not for sale.
Yeah, Elon's having a really bad day.
While Democrats are celebrating the results in Wisconsin, as expected, Republicans won 2 closely watched House races in conservative districts in Florida, but the races were much closer than in November. Joining us from Madison, Wisconsin is John Nichols, the nation's national affairs correspondent. His new article headlined, "Wisconsin Rejects Musk's Money, Trump's Lies, and the Right Wing."
Yes, and to be clear, it's not just that people are angry at Elon Musk. They're also angry at Donald Trump, but you know behind the scenes, Donald Trump is throwing all of this on Elon. On his first buddy. You know that Donald Trump is refusing any of the accountability here.
Assault on the judiciary. And John, overall, I think it's being estimated that there was something like $100 million spent on the state judicial race.
Insane.
Can you talk about the significance of the liberal Judge Crawford's victory?
God, our politics. Oh my God, we need campaign finance reform so badly. $100 million. But that's what we've been seeing more of this lately. These historic spending on races, like Jamal Bowman's race being, I think, the most expensive congressional race because AIPAC poured millions of dollars into that race. Like, this is fucked, okay? And it is something where wherever you fall politically, I think there's a common ground here that individuals trying to buy races or successfully being able to buy races is a bad thing. That is not democracy. Whatever the fuck democracy is anymore.
By quite a large margin.
It was quite a large margin, Amy. And let me tell you, I don't think we can overestimate the significance. Going into this race, when people would ask me about it, I would say there's no middle ground. If Crawford wins, it will be a huge signal that Americans are rejecting, obviously, the money that Elon Musk is using to try and buy elections, but also they're rejecting the direction of the Trump administration. On the other hand, if Brad Schimmel had won, it would have been taken by Trump and Musk as a total vindication for what they're doing. The reason that was so is because Wisconsin is an absolute battleground state. It's incredibly closely divided. In the last 7 elections, 5 for president of the United States, 5 have been decided by under 30,000 votes. So this is a state where things are usually very, very close. But it wasn't that way on Tuesday. Susan Crawford did win by the better part of 200,000 votes. She did win that 55-45 victory.
How is it legal for Elon to donate 100 mil isn't donations? Okay, so it gets, this is where the finessing comes in. So what people like Elon Musk do is they will give a lot of money to different groups. So the Republican Party, the Wisconsin Republican Party got an influx of millions of dollars, which then they also poured into this race. Now, as far as his handing out 2 $1 million checks, as well as paying people to sign a petition opposing activist judges, this very much so seems to fall under the umbrella of illegal bribery. Musk had posted on Twitter, and then he deleted his post, and then he clarified. He's like, I need to clarify a previous post that entrance is limited to those who've signed the petition in opposition to activist judges, except in my understanding, that doesn't really change this being illegal under state bribery laws, where he said, hey, there's a chance to win $1 million. Elon Musk sweepstakes giveaway. Like, you cannot, Wisconsin law prohibits offering or giving anything of value to induce a person to vote. Like, this seems pretty clear cut pretty clear that he is in violation of state bribery laws, because if it's against the law to offer or give anything of value to induce a person to vote, saying, hey, I'm going to give away $2 million checks to people who voted. He gave $3 million directly to the Schimmel camp and millions more to GOP aligned PACs. Yeah, so that's a way that an individual can pour or a group can pour a lot of money into a race and essentially max out the amount that they can give to an individual candidate or to a PAC, depending on what state you're in. And then all of these various groups then pour this money into the race. The judge he advocated for also wouldn't show up to his rallies because he knew he wasn't immune like Elon is. Yeah, this judge who was like, it's just like, oh my God. This judge who, like a lot of candidates, are trying to walk that line of how do I appeal to Donald Trump's base in the hope that they will turn out for me, but also reckon with the fact that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have pissed a lot of people off, are galvanizing people to turn out in races that normally don't see this high of turnout. The fallout is starting to happen. Of course it is. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. President Donald Trump has told his inner circle, including members of his cabinet, that Elon Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks from his current role as governing partner, ubiquitous cheerleader, and Washington hatchet man. I mean, this has kind of been from the beginning. From the beginning, where like Donald Trump would look visibly annoyed with Elon Musk because he's so embarrassing. Like, can you imagine being that embarrassing of a person that even as dedicated as you are to Donald Trump, who values loyalty above all, okay? That Donald Trump 2.0 is loyalty and retribution. But yeah, Donald Trump does hate losers, which he talks about all the time. He does. And genuinely, Elon Musk is such an embarrassing loser. Like, he's surrounded by losers, but he's kind of the king of them. Both men have decided in recent days, I'm sure, that it'll be soon time for Musk to return to his businesses and take on a supporting role. Yeah, he's just so busy having his rocket ships blow up. Musk's looming retreat comes as some Trump administration insiders and many outside allies have become frustrated with this unpredictability and increasingly view the billionaire as a political liability. A dynamic that was thrown into stark relief Tuesday when a conservative judge Musk vocally supported lost his bid for a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat by 10 points. It also represents a stark shift in the Trump-Musk relationship from a month ago when White House officials and allies were predicting Musk was here to stay and that Trump would find a way to blow past the 130-day time limit. The transition is likely to correspond to the end of Musk's time as a special government employee. Yeah. Oh, poor Elon Musk. Poor Elon Musk. Even his best friend can't stand him.
And what's perhaps most significant is she won communities and regions of the state that had voted for...
Are you breaking up with me? Are you breaking up with me? No, I'm breaking up with you. You can't break up with me. No. You can't. You can't. Oh yeah, the Tesla board wants him to step down as CEO. Yes. No, you can't. You can't break up with me because I'm breaking up with you. Except I'm not really breaking up with you because I love you. It's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you.
for Trump just 5 months ago in a very, very high turnout election. So, as I suggest, I just don't think you...
It's literally the energy of getting dumped and telling everyone it was mutual. It's like we reached a mutual decision. We still love each other, and we've just decided that we both want different things. And so it was a mutual decision that we came to. And it certainly wasn't because I'm such a fucking embarrassing loser. No, it definitely was not that. Don't think that at all. When Elon's unemployed again, he can focus on his path of exile too. Yeah, maybe he can actually be the gamer that he pretends to be. He's about to change his profile pic like he did with Grimes. Oh my God. You know what Elon's about to become? Elon's about to become the person who's like trying to reach Donald Trump via Twitter in the way that like his baby mamas have to use Twitter to talk to him. They're like, "Hi, Elon, our child is having a medical emergency and you refuse to answer your phone because you're dancing on stage with a chainsaw." He's going to do that, but to real Donald Trump. Yeah, he's going to start subtweeting. He's going to start subtweeting. When people show you who you are the first time, believe them.
You can overestimate the significance. This is a huge signal from a battleground state that Americans are genuinely upset, genuinely angry, I think, with Trump and with Musk.
And John, that wasn't the only race in Wisconsin. There was also an election for state superintendent of public instruction. What happened there?
Well, you're exactly right, Juan. And the race for superintendent of public instruction, which is the state's top education job, and is a very significant job. It's the post that current governor Tony Evers held before he became governor, was intensely fought. It was a battle between the incumbent, Jill Underly, who has been an absolute supporter of public education. She's a former rural educator, versus a woman named Brittany Kinzer, who was supported by the Republicans and who was supported by advocates for voucher programs that would take money out of public education. Very clear choice. Kinzer had a lot of resources. She was backed by a lot of the same campaigners that were out there for Brad Schimmel in the Supreme Court race. And Jill Underly won. It wasn't quite as big a victory as the Supreme Court race, but it was roughly a 53-47 victory.
Soul Boot, thank you for the 11 months. Animated
win.
Sarah, thank you for the 17.
In both statewide races, in the battleground state of Wisconsin, the clearly progressive candidates won.
And John, could you comment on
okay, so obviously we've been having a great time making fun of Elon Musk. Favorite pastime of mine. But the one cynical part of me is with races like this where the Democrats win, and they win pretty handily because so many people hate Elon Musk. They're pissed off at Donald Trump. They're feeling galvanized because they're seeing the decisions that the current administration is making. It's that Democrats, that's been their strategy. They're like, oh, no. We don't need to offer good policies to people. We don't need to put forth an agenda that is actually helping working class folks in this country because Orange Man bad. Because that's how we fundraise. Orange Man bad, give us money. Orange Man bad, vote for us. So the cynical part of me is like, damn, Democrats are looking at stuff like this and being like, yes, Orange Man bad, Elon Musk bad. The strategy is back, baby. And like not even really having to, they got so outspent in this race. Not cynical, you're being pragmatic. Yeah. They just wait for Republicans to mess up. It's what Schumer basically said during the CR fight. I worry. Yeah, where we are not going to see a dismantling of the Democratic Party, of new leadership coming in, of a surge in actual progressive candidates. If the Democrats are just like, nope, this is what we do. This is how we win. The do nothing strategy. Just let Orange Man be bad. Ah, gee. Ah, God.
Results in the two congressional special elections in Florida.
And like, okay, Cory Booker doing his, what was it, 25 hours and 4-minute marathon address, which it technically was not a filibuster. It was a speech that he delivered. It's now holds the record for the longest speech ever delivered in the Senate. And it did hold up legislative business in the Republican-controlled Senate for the 25 hours that he was speaking. And, you know, on the one hand, it's like, okay, great. Great that a Democrat is doing something. And I think it shows just how desperate people are for the Democrats to do anything. Like go off, I guess. Yes, that people were so excited to see Cory Booker give a speech for 25 hours where it's like, my God, somebody is doing something. Even though it's not like it didn't change any policy, it didn't have an effect. It didn't have an effect other than temporarily holding up legislative business in the Senate for 25 hours. But I guess it was like the message that it sent. It was the optics of it. But that's what's like so frustrating here is that people are so desperate for leadership. They just want so badly somebody who is going to stand up and that they feel is actually going to fight for them. The Dems do love optics. That is true. But it's more than anyone else. Yeah. Like you look at loser Chuck Schumer. You look at all these Democrats who are like, oh, yeah, we can't wait. Maybe we just gotta, we gotta reach across the aisle and blah, blah, blah. And so just the mere fact of Cory Booker giving a historically long speech in the Senate where he broke Strom Thurmond's record when he was advocating against the Civil Rights Act is exciting for people. Yeah, I mean, 25 hours is an amazing amount of time, especially because I don't think he took any bathroom breaks. Like he stood the whole time and didn't take bathroom breaks. And like, that's the type of fight that people are so desperate for. Did not break a record, though, because it wasn't an actual filibuster. It broke the record for the longest speech ever delivered in the Senate. So, no, it technically was not a filibuster. But as far as speeches that have been delivered in the Senate, his is now the longest. Anytime Strom Thurmond's defeated in some way or shape or form is a good time. That man was he was a real piece of shit. Real piece of shit. It was 25 hours on topic. Yeah. And, there were some great moments in that speech. Like the fact that he had energy throughout, like it was impressive, but it's just like, man, God, it's a sad state of affairs that the speech, which mostly is optics. I mean, pretty much all optics because it wasn't a filibuster. It's not affecting any policy. Is something that people are so desperate for. They're so desperate for a fight. To be fair, most of the geriocracy couldn't have actually stood up that long. Oh yeah, no. I mean, you have Congress people disappearing for 2 months because they're in nursing homes. He's homies with Yoav. Yeah, no, I mean, Cory Booker's, he's taking that AIPAC money. This is not a, like, I'm standing Cory Booker. I have already admitted my past when I was big time liberal, my past crush on Cory Booker, when I met him back in the day when I was working in politics. He was on the top he was on like the top bachelors list. Oh my God. And I remember him coming to events and everyone be like, "Oh my God, Cory Booker. He's so hot." That's how desperate we are for like sexy politicians, okay? Hollywood for ugly people. Find her tweets on Cory Booker. I feel like I had at least the wherewithal to not tweet anything thirsty about Cory Booker. If I did, I'll kill myself in Minecraft.
Sure. Those are...
Girl, you don't have to keep admitting it. No, but listen, the reason I admit these things is because I use myself as an example of how people change. They grow. I think we're changing all the time. No, I don't think we ever really change. I think people stay the same. No, I think we're constantly changing. That we're constantly growing. No, I don't think at all. No, I think we stay the same.
Important elections.
How long ago are we talking? Like 2014, okay? 2014. I love that movie. Thank you, Rano, for knowing what I was doing there. I wasn't just talking to myself, okay? Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, 2014 was over a decade ago, okay? It was a long time ago. All right. I'd love to know who you guys were thirsting over in 2014. All right, to put it in context, 2020 was 5 years ago. Okay. If you want to feel old, Apple Martin is applying for Social Security. Does that make you feel old yet? Latrodectus Astra, thank you for the tier 1.
It's because, special elections in the first weeks of a new president's term will often give us an indication of, kind of where sentiment is going. Now, these were heavily gerrymandered districts.
Stop,
they were designed
5-year-old this
to
year?
elect Republicans. There was no question of that. And the prospect that a Democrat would actually win one of these seats was pretty hopeful on the part of any Democrat who thought that would happen. However, there was a huge shift in both of the Florida districts toward the Democratic candidates, both of whom, by the way, were not, famous people per se or particularly powerful figures. And they were running against very prominent officials in Florida on the Republican side. And yet what we saw is that counties in rural and more urban Florida that had actually been, pretty supportive of Trump, in some cases shifted toward the Democrats.
Strategy again.
And
because that's the thing, okay? So the Democrats, they didn't put anything into these Florida races because they were like, no, we're not going to win, but we'll see what happens. And even though Donald Trump, despite what he may insinuate or what people worry on, he cannot run for president again. But it does not mean that the Donald Trump era is over. The Orange Man strategy is a strategy that will continue no matter who's put up next. And so, like I said, the Democrats are looking at these shifts without them even having to do anything. And they're like, haha, see, it's working. Orange Man bad strategy. Can't wait for the Dems to advocate for black fagging and deporting brown people to slave prison in 2028. It's like, I'm going to be tougher on the border than Donald Trump was, making fun of the lack of deportations.
Overall, it was a result that I think Democrats can point to and do a sophisticated analysis. Essentially, what they need to say is this. Look, these weren't districts that we were going to win, but these are districts where you could get a measure of where the sentiment is moving in the United States. And that's what I would say. Remember, we have a lot of congressional districts across the U.S. that Republicans hold, but that are much, much more closely divided. It would be an easier run for the Democrat. So if you see this kind of shift in districts across the country in 2026, there's simply no question that the Democrats would take the House of Representatives.
So, again, those were two special elections in Florida for the seats of the embattled National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and for Gates, who was named as Attorney General, nominated by Trump, but then ultimately had to pull out of Congress around various drug and sex scandals. But I wanted to go back to Wisconsin for 1 minute.
Drug and sex scandals. Oh, if that doesn't describe politics. When I was working in Chicago politics, let me tell you, the various drug and sex scandals, that was everywhere. Candidates using campaign funds on hookers and cocaine. Chicago politics. The libs are about to be so goddamn annoying in the wake of Elon stepping down this Wisconsin Supreme Court when they're going to claim their strategy is working or something and kill. That's what I was just saying, where the... as much as I love laughing at Elon Musk's L after L, the Democrats being like, see, we don't have to change anything. We don't have to be the party for working class voters. We can just keep with our strategy of trying to get those moderate suburbanites, people in the suburbs. For every, what did Chuck Schumer say? For every working class voter we lose, we'll pick up 2 in the suburbs. Amy Goodman's so low-key funny, man. After a JD Vance segment, she played a song by the band Couch. You know, I love those little moments on Democracy Now! Because Democracy Now! They're serious. They're thoughtful. They are often not the energy of anybody who's watching their video and commenting. And yet they will throw in those little moments. They will throw us those little bones, those little tidbits to remind us that they like to have fun too. What this country needs more than anything right now is reaching across the aisle, bipartisanship. We're going to work together.
The significance for the country. I mean, if you take what Elon Musk said, he said it's for the future of Western civilization, but his candidate was defeated. But what this means, for example, in particular about abortion rights, as the Democrats keep the majority
abortion
on
rights, what are
Wisconsin
those?
State Supreme Court, John.
Sure. In Wisconsin, it was a very...
I saw a tweet that was like, oh, some dummy who posted some headline about like how one day soon robots will be able to give birth, that they'll be able to reproduce. And this person was like, man, as soon as this happens, it's so over for you ladies. I'm like, please let robots have children. Do you mean that we might get to live in a world where our worth as women is not determined by our reproductive capabilities, where we're not just seen as baby machines? That would be a huge win. Yeah, robots giving birth, please. Yes, I'm all about it. That would be a huge W.
Very, very clear choice. Susan Crawford has been a very strong supporter of abortion rights for a long time. She is, in addition to being in the past a lawyer for labor unions, she was a lawyer in cases brought by Planned Parenthood. And so there was no question of where she stood on the issue, and she put it front and center in her campaign. On the other hand, Brad Schimmel is a longtime Republican politician who'd been very closely associated with the anti-choice position, and in fact was backed by ardent advocates of a ban on abortion rights. And so the choice couldn't have been clearer. And I think that there are always people who like to tell you that abortion is fading as an issue, that as time passes, perhaps it's not as resonant. But when I was talking to voters yesterday, I was struck by the very strong turnout of young voters. I was at a polling place on the University of Wisconsin campus shortly before the polls closed, and there were literally young women running in to cast their vote, trying to make it in time, before the closing of the polls. And in talking to these folks, you found a number of them were putting the issue of abortion rights very high on their list. So I think it continues to be a very resonant issue.
Democrats 2028. Abortion rights, tough on the border.
To ask you about all this money that Elon Musk is pouring into these political campaigns. I mean, talk about taking Citizens United, the Supreme Court decision, of putting it on steroids. Your sense of the legality of all of this, of offering
$1 million robot abortion rights? Hell yeah.
To particular voters?
Sure. This Musk spending and the way he did his spending has been incredibly controversial in Wisconsin. The Attorney General did bring an action against him. Other legal groups have been, raising this issue. It didn't get litigated before the election, but I don't think there's any question that there's going to be a continuing examination of how Musk spent.
Look at him with this stupid ass check. It's like a sweepstakes giveaway. Oh my God. He's so weird. He is a very weird person, yes.
His money.
Yes.
And of real questions of whether there were violations of Wisconsin election law. But there's something deeper as regards all this one. Even if it was legal, what we need to understand is that we had a situation in Wisconsin where the wealthiest man in the world tried to buy an election. He poured his money in as roughly $25 million, in addition to all these other gimmicks, all these other stunts. And I think that a lot of political analysts would have told you, well, that's going to win because money wins in politics. But that didn't happen in Wisconsin. So when we talk about the significance of this, beyond the legalities, there's a political significance. The message out of Wisconsin is that Musk's money
smallest
doesn't
giant check
win.
ever.
And that message matters for Democrats, obviously, going into the 2025 fall elections as well as the 2026 midterm elections. It also matters for Republicans in Congress because there's no question Elon Musk has tried to intimidate them.
I'm sorry. I just, as they're having this conversation, making a lot of good points, the B-roll footage of Elon Musk running out in his stupid ass cheese hat.
By threatening to use his money to punish any Republican that stands up to Donald Trump's agenda. Well, now those Republicans have a counter narrative, another piece of information which says that, yeah, maybe Musk's money could protect you in a primary, but it might not be enough to protect you in a general election. And so we've got a very significant signal out of Wisconsin about money in politics in general and about Elon Musk's money in particular.
I mean, it is remarkable that one of Elon Musk's $1 million recipients went to the chairman of the Wisconsin College Republicans, a person who had worked for Ron Johnson to get him elected, and in the fall of 2024 worked as for Turning Point Action, Charlie Kirk's group.
Let me just say, that's the type of guy that you need to watch your drinks around. Okay. That's all I will say.
But I want to turn to Texas for 1 minute as we wrap up. In an interview with the New York Times, Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries accused Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott of slow-walking a special election to replace Congressmember Sylvester Turner in Houston, who died last month. This is really significant. I mean,
can I just say, too, that it has been so funny. It has been so funny to see people like Tomi Lahren and all these MAGA people get so, clutch their pearls over Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, who recently had some things to say about Greg Abbott. And it's like, oh, suddenly all these people on the right who have just totally embraced absolute cruelty, ableism, dehumanization, I mean, the list goes on, are like literally clutching their pearls over what Jasmine Crockett said.
And it looks like Abbott is not going to call a special election, at least
Caroline,
at this point.
we call him Governor Hot Wheels in Texas.
It open, this seat, which would most likely go to a Democrat representing Houston, of course, until the November 2026 election. We just have 30 seconds.
Sure. I've written about these issues a lot in the past. Governors playing with special election dates. It is an absolute assault on
It's
democracy.
not even a negative thing to call him Hot Wheels. Like, he's literally on wheels and it's hot here. Oh, that tree tried to be a hero.
We need to understand that congressional seats, House seats, are filled in elections. They aren't appointed. And so when you have a governor of one party saying, we're not going to let people elect a successor to a member who has passed away, that governor is saying that I'm going to leave you, the people of a major American city, unrepresented for the better part of a year and a half. It is absolutely unacceptable, and Texans should be raising an outcry about what Governor Abbott appears to be doing.
John Nichols, we thank you for being with us, the nation's national affairs correspondent. We'll link to your various articles at Democracy.
Just got a Cory Booker fundraising text. I can only imagine the copy. Cory Booker is standing up for America. Cory Booker just spent 25 hours fighting the Republicans. Can you chip in $5 to join that fight? He's doing a subathon. Yeah, he was doing a subathon yesterday. I got that text. I used to work in fundraising, so those were the types of texts I used to send out. Hey, John, Caroline with Cory Booker's campaign. They're already ahead of you. Without fail, Senator Cory Booker is filibustering Trump's agenda right now. He needs your support. Rush $5 to train Dems. Or only $5. How about $1 for... Can you give $1 for every hour that Cory Booker stood up to fight for you? He's filibustering the entire agenda. Yeah, Booker finally does a 24-hour wants my Prime. No thanks, I only sub to Caroline. That's right, baby. If you've got Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Prime sub a month to use on your favorite streamer or Cory Booker, who stood up for 25 hours and didn't go pee-pee. Senator Booker just finished a historic filibuster of Trump's agenda. Senator Booker is standing for you. Will you stand with him with $5? Ted Tedson, thank you for the Prime. Cramburglar, thank you for the 3 months. I saw this one. After all that, I'm the first person he wanted to talk to. Blake, it's Cory Booker. I just walked off the Senate floor. After all that, I'm the first person he wanted to talk to. He bust her in my Philly? Cory Booker just busted in your Philly. Will you bust her in his Philly with $5 or more? I swear I unsubscribed to Democrat donation text daily and I keep getting them. Oh, you'll never be free. Just so you know. Like, I remember too, like when I worked in fundraising, texting stopped to quit. It didn't quit. There's a little inside scoop for ya. You would just get sent messages from a different number. There was no opting out. There was no text stop to quit. Hey, it's Cory. You up? 2014 me would be like, oh my God, yes. Yes, sir, I am up. I am up. I bust in her Philly, so I book her. I bust in her Philly, so I book her. Oh, God. This is the stuff that we're here for, okay? This is what we're here for. Booker, hardly know her. Donate $5 now, please. 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 Okay, I have to go over this freaking hilarious story involving John Oliver and our favorite kind of person, health insurance executives. Filibusta, Afila and her busta. Thank you for the community sub. So, yeah, you guys are giving away your ideas for free. You should sell them to the Democratic Party. Okay, don't give that out for free. Make some money off that shit, or at least get some likes on Twitter. This is an incredible headline. Health insurance executive sues John Oliver over out of context remarks about toilet hygiene. Oh yeah, you heard that right. A health insurance executive who was lambasted on TV by John Oliver is suing the comedian turned talk show host for allegedly misconstruing his remarks about the level of care disabled Medicaid recipients should receive after using the toilet. Let me tell you that in my title, I tried to put John Oliver sued by CRYBB healthcare executive, and Twitch flagged it. They're like, no, sorry, this is offensive. And then I was like, okay, John Oliver sued by bitch baby. Is that better? Bitch baby healthcare executive? No. Unfortunately, that violates our guidelines. Okay, John Oliver sued by bitch healthcare. No. So I had to do CRYBB. CRYBB. Yeah, I was flagged for bullying. You know how healthcare executives, they're the most vulnerable group, okay? They're the most marginalized. They've been dealing with a lot of shit. It's not fair. We're being too mean. So, Dr. Brian Morley thinks it's okay if people have shit on them for days, Oliver said on the air last year. Here's the clip.
Our main story.
This whole video, does anybody know what the timestamp would be of him giving these? Let's see, I can just skip through too. I hate when articles do this. They're like, here's the whole video. I have watched this before too, but I cannot remember. Stanley Tucci. Okay, skip. Skippity skip. Search the transcript. Oh, you know I don't know how to do that. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, jump scare. Skipping the tooch is a crime. I know. I'm so scarred. I'm so sorry I skipped the tooch. Someone's got to be faster. Okay, wait. Show transcript. Where do you do that? Show transcript. Control F. Brian. Brian. Okay, wait. Oh my God. Okay. I've never searched a transcript before. You guys are watching me do this. You guys are watching it's very, very exciting. For the first time. Why isn't it popping up? What do I type? Poop? Morley? Poop? No. Okay. All right. Okay. We will get there. It'll be like we could have just watched the entire thing. What words was it? According to Morley, or he said, It's okay for people to have shit on them for days, Oliver said on air last year, referring to previous comments by the former Mira Health Caritas medical director. So did he say shit? I think he did. Okay, type shit. Okay, but it's going into the comments now. There's only 2 comments of shit. The doctor going, yep, sometimes we let people sit in their own shit for a few days. But what part was it? Why isn't it? How do you search in just the transcript? Okay, sit in their... No, it's only showing up. Try the 3 dots. It may be bleeped so it doesn't show. Okay.
Oh, weirdly big. Really out for
We're just going to keep going.
I would argue that it come out after 100%.
2230. Thank you. Thank you. I knew we were almost there. I knew someone would get it faster than I would. Okay. Here. To be clear, John Oliver on this episode played audio of Dr. Brian Morley's own words. To be clear, okay? You heard it for yourself. People have bowel movements every day where they don't completely clean themselves and we don't fuss over them too much. People are allowed to be dirty. You know, I would allow him to be a little dirty for a couple of days. I worked in an assisted living facility and yeah, it's sad. Yeah. Solitary Man in Black. Thank you for the tier 1. We all know this, but John Oliver has an enormous team, okay? And they have they have a legal department, they have journalists, they have writers. There's a reason John Oliver gets sued all the time, but there's a reason that he doesn't lose when he is sued, because this is the type of stuff that he is legally allowed to say, considering he is using this person's own words. He's literally playing the audio from the hearing where the doctor, in his own words, was like, yeah, sometimes patients will have a bowel movement and they'll be a little dirty and we just, we leave them for a couple days. Like, there's no out of context here. He has a history of going after people who try to sue him. Rest in piss, Bob Murray. Yes, this is not the first time nor the last time that John Oliver is being sued by a little bitch baby. Easy Ecomosis, thank you for the 15 months. So anyway, back to the lawsuit. According to a federal defamation lawsuit filed on Friday, subsequently damaged Morley's reputation and personal well-being. Morley, quote, did not equate wiping poorly with leaving anyone sitting in their own feces for days, and actually, quote, testified to the opposite, the lawsuit says. According to Morley's suit, he never said that it is okay or medically appropriate for individuals wearing diapers or who are otherwise immobile to have shit on them for days, nor did he say that it is okay or medically appropriate for anyone to sit or lay in their own feces for days at a time or otherwise. Well, I don't know, because I heard the audio and it kind of sounded like he was talking about that exact thing. Like, what's the opposite of sitting in your own feces for days? Instead, the suit contends Morley was trying to explain that there are everyday people who may not wipe perfectly, but that they're mobile and they're not laying in it. Is he referring to people like Nandre? Nandre, who loves to talk all the time about how there's poop in his butt still? Is that who Dr. Brian Morley is referring to? Doo-doo butt? It was Oliver who knowingly and falsely conveyed that Dr. Morley testified that it is okay to leave someone who's incontinent, wears diapers, or otherwise sits in their own bowel movements in their shit for days. He literally just played the audio of Dr. Brian Morley and then said, fuck that doctor with a rusty canoe. I hope he gets tetanus of the balls. That is actually what he said. Is that mentioned in the lawsuit? Morley's attorneys declined on Monday to comment and told The Independent that Morley left AmeriHealth Caritas several years ago. A lawyer for Oliver and his production company, who are named as defendants in the case, did not immediately respond to requests or comment. I would love to know, actually, how often John Oliver is sued. In an April 2024 episode of Last Week Tonight titled Medicaid, Oliver told viewers that there was a nearly 900% increase in members being illegally denied services or care, and some of the cost cutting was absolutely enraging. He then showed video footage of a wheelchair-bound cerebral palsy patient in Iowa named Louis Facenda Jr., who had gone for 6 weeks without medication or daily nursing visits, during which the 25-year-old would be bathed and have his diaper changed after AmeriHealth Caritas, a so-called managed care organization. Oh my God, my mom used to work in managed care, and she would just tell me horror stories, absolute horror stories, and just how... So these managed care companies, my mom used to work in managed care as like, she was a social worker, and just how much abuse of funding, of state funding there is, how, patient care falls through the cracks. And so AmeriHealth Caritas advising the state's Medicaid program halted payments for the crucial services. He wasn't getting changed like he normally would get changed 2 or 3 times a day, his mother said. Oliver then ran an audio clip of medical director Dr. Brian Morley testifying during a 2017 administrative hearing about a similar patient. 32-year-old policyholder Nathan McDonald. AmeriHealth Caritas had cut McDonald's in-home visit by nurses who helped him bathe and get dressed from twice daily down to 5 times a week. That is vile. These people deserve hell. God damn. God damn, these people who make people in health, these healthcare executives who make so much money making people's lives worse, causing them to live in conditions like this, causing people to die. Tetanus of the balls is what they deserve. Yes, they deserve to get fucked with a rusty canoe and get tetanus in the balls. The managed care company I did graphic design for used to make me Photoshop out stains and bruises for social media posts. God damn. Oh, the industry is broken. Yes. It's horrifying. Although McDonald was unable to fully wipe himself, according to the Register, Morley's suit takes aim at the notion that he was similar to Facenda, alleging that he was not confined to a wheelchair, was not incontinent, did not wear diapers, independently toilet transferred, was independently mobile, could change his own clothes, bathe himself, blah, 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 blah. Morley's suit insists that he was referring to the average individual, Nandre, who is independently mobile but may not wipe perfectly, not someone who's wearing diapers or otherwise laying in their own bowel movements. Okay, well, yeah, he said people have bowel movements every day where they don't completely clean themselves and we don't fuss over them too much. People are allowed to be... Oh, God, this fucking guy. In this hypothetical, Morley's suit goes on, if feces are left on the skin for several hours or even a day, and the feces are removed the next day in someone that's mobile and is not confined to a bed, then it would just be a matter of washing the feces off. You know what Brian Morley should have to do? Brian Morley, as punishment, should have to clean the feces off himself. Also, I'm sorry to everyone who's on lunchtime. I am sorry. Morley, according to the suit, believed it was necessary for Facenda to have multiple in-home visits per day, but did not think McDonald needed everything he was asking for. Of course not, because that is the moral of the story when it comes to the healthcare industry. We don't think that you need everything that you're asking for. My mom is on... my mom is on medication for her autoimmune disease, and there's 2 different pills. I can't remember what the pills are, but there's 2 different pills that are combined into one, and she takes that pill. And her insurance company recently said, we're not going to pay for that anymore. No, it's not prednisone. My mom was on prednisone previously. It's a pill that she is supposed to take daily, I think. And her insurance company just sent her notice that was like, we're not actually going to cover that anymore. we're not gonna cover this because it's a combined pill. It makes no fucking sense. And they were like, if you wish to appeal, you may send in an appeal. But of course, deny, defend, depose. The strategy is you make things as impossible as you can for people, knowing full well that most people do not have the time and the energy to appeal these decisions, to fight them if it comes to it in a court. Like, it's exhausting. Most people are working to try and put food on the table, keep a roof over their heads. These are people with health insurance. My elderly aunt was just denied staying in a rehab facility after having a hip replacement. It's been deemed elective despite her surgeon saying that was barely any hip left. Oh, she doesn't need a hip. Old people don't need hips. Now she's being taken care of at home by elderly family. They need help. I'm so sorry. That is, it enrages me. The healthcare system in this country is enraging. It is enraging. Every person has a story. God. It just, honestly, there's a lot of things that make me mad, but healthcare in particular, healthcare in the United States of America will just always get me so fired up. Oh, so many things in my brain that I cannot say. So many things. And you know what's amazing is, like, I have had a lot of conversations with liberal family members, including my mom. And one thing I talk about all the time is Bernie Sanders and Medicare for All. And it's been pretty incredible to hear how many liberals are, like, fully on board with it. Okay, fully on board Medicare for All, have changed their minds on someone like Bernie Sanders, where they recognize that the only reason healthcare and universal healthcare being discussed at on a national level, the only reason for that was because Bernie was running in the primary, and then he got fucked by the Democratic Party. But it's like, this is the reality of the healthcare industry is so bad. Even if you are well off, even if you have the money to spend $1,000 on your healthcare policy every month, you are still getting fucked. Progressive policies are incredibly popular. Oh yeah. Yes. Anyway, back to this. According to his lawsuit, morally explained that there are likely people I'm sorry, I have to stop talking about bowel movements. But yeah. So this suit is, yet the suit continues. The producers of Last Week Tonight knew, contradicted, and otherwise failed to disclose that Dr. Morley did not testify at all that it's okay or medically appropriate for individuals wearing diapers who are otherwise immobile to have shit on them for days. McDonald and Facenda later won their appeals and their full nursing services were restored. Morley is demanding, I demand a retraction. I demand an apology from John Oliver. Removal of the episode from all platforms and money. This motherfucker wants money. Of course he does. Of course he does. I demand a retraction. What a little bitch, baby. I can't put this in my Twitch title, but I sure can say it on stream. What a little bitch. A little bitch, baby. John Oliver was mean to me. When you're getting mad at John Oliver, this is who you're getting mad at, okay? This is the face. This is the face of who you're mad at. Something tells me Oliver's about to double down. I mean, one thing that he's always been really good on is talking about healthcare, and he has a lot of episodes about healthcare, about the various programs. TK Batsy, thank you for the 8 months. Doesn't this man understand that all he's going to get is a 10-minute song and dance by John on the season finale? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Luigi. Free Luigi. Luigi was with me. I've said it before. I will say it again. He didn't do it because he was with me. He was with me. Yeah, so Pam Bondi, you're a libtard. That is actually such an insult. Oh my God, I can't believe you're calling me a lib. I cannot believe it. After everything I have said, after everything I've said and done, I still get called a lib. God damn. I gotta turn it up. I gotta turn it the fuck up. Last person to sue John Oliver ended up dying. I also love this idea that me talking, like right now we're talking about healthcare. Right now I'm like, I think everyone should have healthcare. I'm sick and tired of 70,000 people dying every year because of this predatory, evil healthcare system. I don't want healthcare to be the number one reason that people go into debt. Can I ban this chatter? No, let them stick around. Let them stick around. I'll prove that I'm not a lib. Yeah, no, I don't think that you should die because you don't have health care. I don't think you should die or get sicker because your health care claims are denied. Your coverage is denied. I don't think that these healthcare companies should be allowed to profit to the tune of billions of dollars a year, and they are profiting off of suffering. They are profiting off of death. They are profiting off of social murder. I do not believe that is morally good. I think that is evil. I think that is bad. Did you see that they gave the Walmart shooter who went after undocumented migrants a plea deal? Oh, yes. No. Pam Bondi, who, if you did January 6th, you're good. Pam Bondi's got your back. Yeah, if you shoot up, if you do a mass shooting, if you kill a bunch of people, they won't seek the death penalty for you. And let me clarify, I am fundamentally opposed to capital punishment. I'm fundamentally opposed to the death penalty. I don't care who it is. I've been against the death penalty for a long time, but the hypocrisy needs to be pointed out. The standard in which if you kill somebody, like a healthcare executive, which Luigi didn't do it, we don't know who did it, but the evidence isn't there. Free Luigi. But whoever killed this healthcare executive, which we don't know, Luigi Mangione is going to be on trial for it, and Pam Bondi and the DOJ are trying to seek the death penalty because in the United States of America, if you kill a healthcare executive, that is the greatest crime that you can commit, and you must be put to death.
Justice Department has just said Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione. He's the man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York.
By the way, Luigi Mangione's GoFundMe or whatever that is, last I checked, it was almost three quarters of a million. And that money is not just coming from people on the left. It's not just coming from, as Chatter would say, libtards. No, it's across the political spectrum because everyone is getting fucked under healthcare.
New York City street back in December With us now, MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalas. Danny, good morning. So what is exactly the Justice Department saying, and what are they basing it on?
Well, one of the crimes Mangione is charged with is murder with a firearm, which is a capital offense under federal law. So the death penalty is a possibility. But in federal death penalty cases, it is a two-stage process. The jury not only decides guilt, but then they are the ones who ultimately decide whether the defendant lives or is put to death. It is not the judge that hands out the sentence. That's why death penalty juries have to be qualified, and it's a much more onerous process to seat a capital jury, because you have to ask them questions, difficult questions like, if the death penalty is on the table, can you actually sentence someone to death? So this is a very big decision by the federal government, maybe not a surprising one, but given how rarely over the years the federal government has sought the death penalty, it is certainly a significant decision by Pam Bondi.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, Danny. I mean, what cases have there been where the federal government has been requesting the death penalty? And I'm thinking...
So if you do not think that this is politically motivated, if you do not think that this has been turned into a circus because the political class, because the corporate class, because healthcare executives are really scared that people are pissed off, that there was a lot of support. There was a lot of support after this, and there were a lot of people who were like, you will not catch me shedding any tears for an individual who made millions of dollars from people's suffering and from death. This is the guy who approved an AI program that had a 90% error rate. 90% error rate. And it mostly denied claims of the elderly. So the response after the shooting of Brian Thompson sent a pretty clear message of how people in this country feel about healthcare. And here's the thing, okay? You want to prosecute someone for committing a murder. Okay, following the laws. And yet these are the same laws, this is the same country that allows people like Brian Thompson to profit off many, 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 many more deaths. Tens of thousands of deaths, profit off of people's suffering. This is what we refer to as social murder, where that's all fine and dandy. You can make millions of dollars as a healthcare CEO. You can make billions of dollars as a healthcare company. So where's the prosecution of this? Where is the justice there? I think, what was it? United Healthcare made like $16 billion in just profit last year or something like that. Just insanity.
More than one person having been killed. It is unusual.
Yes, and it's encouraged. Yes.
I believe that the most recent death penalty execution in the federal system was carried out in 2021, and that was related to a crime that was committed, just to give you some context, in 1996. So that's how long death penalty cases can take. And at the federal level, it's interesting because, states like New York may not.
Like, that should show you, too, the fact that the last time was 4 years or so ago, and how it's pretty rare that the DOJ specifically seeks the death penalty. I mean, this is not something that happens often, and it is so clear how politically motivated this is, that they want to make an example out of Luigi Mangione because they are terrified of the anger in this country towards the healthcare industry, the anger in this country towards billionaires, towards the corporate class and their political allies.
Not have the death penalty, but technically every state has, and I'm using air quotes, the death penalty because they could be charged with a federal crime in that state and put to death, even if the state itself does not have the death penalty, as is the case with New York.
I think there was a piece in here. The Trump administration's bloodthirsty call to execute Luigi Mangione is the exact wrong way to deal with Luigi Mangione. Oh, by the way, totally missed this, but my wonderful third cousin Graham Wood of The Atlantic, of course, had written a piece that was in defense of the healthcare industry, that was chastising the anger that people feel. Yeah, same guy who wrote that you can legally murder children in the context of Palestinian children being murdered. Those are legally murdered children. Yeah. Yeah, that's the cousin who that my haters online said that I was racist towards my brother. Yeah, my cousin brother. It's like, I don't know, that sounds like some White Lotus shit. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Luigi Mangione is alleged to have gunned down healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the streets of New York, and irrespective of the potential motivation, it's the sort of thing that needs to be punished in a society governed by laws. If we can acknowledge that, we can also acknowledge that anyone surprised that the 26-year-old has become a folk hero is fooling themselves. Let me be clear. Nobody wants to be at a point where someone is driven, and that someone wasn't Luigi. He didn't do it. Where's the evidence? But someone was driven to kill a healthcare CEO for his role in the extremely predatory healthcare system. What we want is a healthcare system that provides healthcare coverage free at the point of service for everybody who lives here. We want universal healthcare. We want healthcare to be treated as a human right. So it is not a good measure of society when we have gotten to a point that an individual murders a healthcare CEO. To be a millionaire healthcare baron is to be in contention for being the most hated man in America. We live in a country where there's a decent chance your bank account will get wiped out after a freak car accident. It's not popular to be profiting from that. And so anyone in touch with the precariousness of being alive in America in 2025 can relate to the sympathies thrust upon Mangione by a whole swath of Americans. But Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi are not typical Americans, and for my money, that's why they made such a show of threatening Mangione with the death penalty today. So here's Bondi. Luigi Mangione's murder of Brian Thompson, an innocent man and father of 2 young children. Do you know what the other thing, too, that is such a double standard is, like, his kids are teenagers. They're, like, whatever, 16, 17. And like they're young children, right? But an actual child in a place like Gaza gets referred to as a young adult. It's like this young adult who is 5 years old. It's the opposite of Jonah Platt. You know, Jonah Platt, my dad had to leave my family. Jonah Platt, who's almost 40 years old, 40-year-old baby boy. Like the opposite treatment is given to immigrants, children of immigrants, Palestinians. It's like, no, those are all adults. Those are all young adults. Not even, young woman. Hind Rajab, who was referred to in the media as a young woman. You just hate white kids. I'm going to blow your mind for a second. I am half white, and my kids are white. My kids with Will Neff are white children. So no, I don't hate white kids. I myself, growing up, was a white kid. Half white. I was a white kid. Farley is white. Farley is my white child. Man, I just wish, like, I know that there's dumbass chatters. I know that will never change. But I really wish, like, I know who these chatters are. They are not rich people living in mansions who are like, oh my God, Jesus, our way of life is being threatened. I know that. Like, I just wish you would understand that the things I'm saying are advocating for you having a better life. Like, I wish you would just, I wish you could get it through your thick skulls. But it's like, if you live in the United States of America, you want to suffer, you want to keep suffering. You want to worry about what will happen to you if you get in a car accident, if you get diagnosed with some illness. Like, you're totally fine. You're happy with knowing that you could be sent into debt that you will never get out of if you are not already in debt. And maybe you don't even have health care because you can't afford it, because it's not tied to your employment. Maybe you lost your job. I don't know, man. I'm just like, people are so blind. They're just so blinded by what? What are you blinded by? Why can't you see that I want your life to be better? That's it. I do. Even when you're being a dumbass in chat. I understand, but I could not kill a person over it. No, I get it. And I am not advocating for murder. In fact, I said it is a bad sign in our society that it has gotten to this point that someone did kill a healthcare CEO. Like, it's amazing that it actually hasn't happened before. That this is not a common thing. Because people are fully aware of healthcare CEOs making millions of dollars off of denying them care. But the fact that we have gotten to this point and that so many people across the political aisle were expressing similar sentiments, where they were sharing stories about how United Healthcare had denied them or a loved one care, that they had to watch their father die in pain, and how, you know, they spent their final years, months, etc., fighting the healthcare industry. People who were expressing that no, they don't think murder is good, but that Brian Thompson is also a murderer. That these healthcare executives, that they murder a lot more people. They are responsible for many, many deaths, and they make a lot of money off of it. But in America, instead of addressing the issue, they go after the person that it breaks. Which is, yes, they want to make an example of Luigi Mangione because they are trying to shut down this anger. They are trying to send a message while continuing to profit off and therefore why they allow themselves to be lobbied by these healthcare companies and will not at all even talk about a goddamn public option. I mean, health, like, you guys, two incredibly vital issues: climate change and healthcare. Climate change is the number one existential issue that we are facing. And these were topics that were barely a footnote in the last presidential election. We went from, in 2016 and 2020, because Bernie Sanders was running in the Democratic primary and has been talking about Medicare for all for literally decades. Healthcare is a human right. And it forced other candidates to have to talk about healthcare. And even if they didn't fully say Medicare for all, at least they were talking about healthcare as a right, as something that we need to fix in this country. And then we barely got any conversation 4 years later in 2024. My dad was starved to death in hospital while in a coma because we couldn't afford pain meds or food for him. It's real, folks. Yeah, and my heart goes out to you. And I understand that this is This is horrifyingly a common reality. This is a shared reality. The healthcare industry has destroyed so many people's lives and continues to. And these healthcare companies make billions of dollars in profit. They are incentivized to deny you care, even when you are paying sometimes hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a month. So if he released, would that not give other victims of this the wrong message, i.e. go shoot a healthcare CEO? Look, nobody wants to like, it's not that they're, I mean, maybe, I don't know, suddenly people will be shooting healthcare CEOs because they're like, fix the fucking healthcare system or we're taking you guys out. No, but the main thing is that also do not Fed post. Do not Fed post. The main thing is that they want to make an example of Luigi because yes, they want to decentivize others who have been burned by the healthcare system, who have gotten to the point, who are at the end of the road, at the end of their rope. And the only thing that they feel that they can do to send a message, to do something, is to kill a healthcare CEO, to have people talking about the healthcare industry. So it's that. And it's also just more broadly trying to regain control, trying to regain the upper hand. These politicians and their corporate allies, they saw the response to the shooting of Brian Thompson, and it terrified them because here's the thing. You can only squeeze people so long and so much before they fully break, before there is nothing left to squeeze. And we are currently in the stage of capitalism that is late stage capitalism. And the economic gap between the poor and the working class has only gotten wider and wider. 90% of 90% of wealth has moved to the very tippy top, to a very small group of people. Yeah, you can't say killing is wrong when the guy's up for the death penalty. They're like, killing is bad, which is why we're going to kill this guy. Yep, we're going to send the message that killing is wrong by killing this man. But legally. Legally, just in the same way that healthcare companies legally murder tens of thousands of people by denying them care. Appreciate you speaking out so much. I keep having my Medicaid shut off and I'm in danger of getting disability taken. So just really appreciate people fighting. Yeah, this is an issue that's only gotten worse and worse as these companies have realized how much money that they can make off of squeezing the last drops out of people. It's the suffering before that brought this. Similar October 7th, it didn't happen out of nothing. Right. And that's why I was like, okay, so you want to, we live in a society. You want to live in a society governed by laws. But what about a society, that same society whose laws allow people to go hungry, to go unhoused, to die because they've been denied healthcare? What kind of fucking society is that? Laws that protect police officers who shoot and murder civilians. Laws that make it so you can't protest genocide. If you are here on a visa or a green card, then you will be deported. Laws that make it so that so that we treat immigrants, the backbone of this country, as criminals, that we treat them inhumanely. Laws that allow these companies and their allies to make a lot of money when they are already wealthy beyond belief. Make money off of people's suffering. What kind of society is that? Laws that allow for your federal government to revoke your citizenship and visas. Yeah. Crime is legal for the rich. Yes. Yep. Okay, so after Pam Bondi said, after careful consideration, what kind of society celebrates cold-blooded murder in the streets? A society that has been so broken. A society that is being crushed underneath its systems, which have devastated the majority of people who live in it. A society where healthcare is not a human right, where even people who have healthcare are still dying because they're being denied care. They're leaving behind their families. They're leaving their families behind with a ton of debt. So that's the kind of society. That's the thing, right? A lot of people just look at the effect, right? They look at the effect. Somebody murdered Brian Thompson, but they don't look at the cause. They don't look at the root. They don't look at where this is coming from. Do you think it's just because murder's cool? That this just happened in a vacuum? So anyway, Bondi went on to characterize the crime as an act of political violence, like what they're doing to Luigi isn't political violence, and made the somewhat flat assertion that bystanders near the scene were put at grave risk of death. Trump has made a lot of noise about reinstating the use of the federal death penalty, and it's not really a surprise to anyone that his administration would invoke it here. But by releasing such a haughty statement, which defines Mangione as a political dissident and leans the full weight of the state on his punishment, Trump is showing once again that his populist instincts are in decline. The harsh punishment of Mangione might be in keeping with his chest thumping on crime, but it's also bad politics. That's clear to pretty much everyone outside of Capitol Hill. Empathizing with Mangione is simply not uncommon, nor is it exclusive to anti-establishment lefties who relish any evidence of an armed revolt against the entrenched oligarchy, especially when it comes from someone iconoclastically hot. Case in point, Mangione's official legal defense fund has accumulated over $700,000 and ticks higher every day. Really, you see the same compassion for his plight across the entire ideological spectrum, including some of the most partisan arenas on the web. Yeah, remember when Ben Shapiro uploaded a YouTube video titled, "The Evil Revolutionary Left Cheers Murder." The evil revolutionary left cheers murder. And I'm going to tell you why they're wrong. And then in his comments, and this wasn't just a couple comments, it was so many of the comments. Like, right-winger here, you're wrong, Ben. This man denied 35% of claims. One was my dead parents' heart surgery we couldn't afford. He opted to die instead of give us the debt. I'm a conservative, and I have been since I was a teenager. I will shed no tears for this man. Wow, maybe I've been wrong this entire time, Ben. I don't think you actually care about us. I think you just want our money. I think you want us to hate each other. Boom, right there. That is called class consciousness. That is called understanding class struggle, understanding that elites like Ben Shapiro, that they profit off of you turning around and pointing the finger, being angry at not the corporate class, the billionaire class, the political class, but at one another. Pointing around and saying, oh yeah, it's those damn lefties on Twitter who are keeping me from a healthy a life where I'm provided health care, where I am not, having to forego dinner in order to pay rent. Quote from the fantastic movie Madawan: "There's no black and white, there's no right and left. There's only those who work and those who do not." That sentiment pairs nicely with a poll by Emerson College that went around last year, finding that 41% of college students deemed the killing acceptable. Or the one from the Krista, if dumbass isn't here, just keep chirping. If they're just being obnoxious, you can time them out. Or the one from the University of Chicago, in which 7 in 10 Americans placed at least a moderate responsibility for Thompson's death on the healthcare industry. Thank you, dear. Yeah, once somebody is just now being so obtuse and is distracting from what I am talking about here, then they get put onto timeout. Then you gotta go into timeout. The debate has made its way into the orbit of Joe Rogan, who, if you remember, may have helped tilt the election towards Trump. His take was that private healthcare was a dirty, dirty business. Meanwhile, Bill Burr, a notoriously unaligned stand-up comedian, has been far more assertive. He advocates for a free Luigi, every chance he gets. Again, none of this should be shocking. This country is locked into a spiraling, seemingly irreversible decline, and regardless of who you voted for, liberals and conservatives alike are vulnerable to the elemental dissatisfaction such a status quo can inspire. People are angry. That is the number one reason Trump is in the White House, and why it's so curious that he's unable to read the room, especially when previously it was his only political talent. That's not to say it would have been particularly shrewd for the president to have wandered into the Rose Garden and started babbling about what a very fine person Luigi Mangione is. But the administration's determined to make Mangione's potential capital punishment a nakedly political issue in a way that appears to deliberately run contrary to the collective angst of his coalition. This has become a pattern. You can sense the same dissonance in the way this administration has propagandized its tariffs, which thus far have been messaged with the idea that patriotic citizens will happily swallow the economic turbulence ahead. Yeah, as like one of the big issues of the last election was, my eggs cost $1 million. Grocery prices. And it's like, don't worry, things will be better, even if they're bad right now. I mean, Elon Musk, when the Trump administration first took over, didn't he come out and he was like, yeah, it's going to suck, right? Like he basically was like, you're going to feel the pain, but it will be good. It's good for you. It's good for you. It's like all of our mothers who would say beauty is pain as they ripped a hairbrush through your head. Musk said that before the election. Yes. I mean, this has been said repeatedly by Musk and Trump. Like, some of you may die, but that's a risk that I am willing to take. Yes. Some of you, many of you will suffer, many will die, but I am willing to take that risk because I care about you so much. So much. Never mind, of course, that the single most salient issue in the 2024 election was the skyrocketing cost of groceries, housing, and yes, healthcare. The people of this country want to live with dignity, and more importantly, they want those responsible for their suffering to pay. Healthcare is a human right. But thus far, the primary target of Trump's wrath appears to be Americans themselves. The root of this contradiction might be pretty straightforward. Trump is extremely wealthy, as are his benefactors. In the huddles at Mar-a-Lago, perhaps the only proposal on the table is to rain hell on Mangione. Might work in the short term. Might work in the short term, but the animosity remains. Someday soon, Americans are going to need a good reason to stop feeling so angry. If Trump doesn't give them one, who knows who they'll be sympathizing with next. Wonder Gal, thank you for the gifted sub. Luigi, he didn't do shit. Ilhan using AI Ghibli? No, Ilhan, no. Where's her daughter? Where's her daughter to set her straight? No, dude. Why? Bro, are people... Is anybody... No, everyone's just like, can't wait for you to be deported. Ugh, gross. Man, speaking of it, this was depressing to read. ChatGPT usage hits record after rollout of viral feature. Yeah, so many people have been using ChatGPT to make Studio Ghibli images that it's been straining the servers. Oh, God. I have to point you to, I know Elon Musk is the biggest loser in the world, but I have to point out that this person here, who's Norm AI artist, comms open. Yeah. So now there are people who are calling themselves AI artists and taking commissions. That they decided to harass somebody online who was rightfully calling out just how brain broken and gross the whole ChatGPT Studio Ghibli shit is, and people being like, this is art, yada yada, this is real art. And like, I just, people like this, how are you real? Because she blocked me, we are changing today to be AI Artist Visibility Day. What the fuck does that even mean? We are clearly the more marginalized group at this point. This has to be satire. It has to be. And oh yeah, I generated you stepping in dog poop. Oh my God, oh God, maybe healthcare isn't a human right. Maybe healthcare is not a human right. Oh, God. It got community noted. This post violates Twitter's guidelines by using an image of a user without permission with the objective of harassing her. Oh, God. I know. I just saw Ilhan tweeted out garbage Ghibli AI. I'm losing it. I'm fucking losing my mind. I really am. The Miyazaki maelstrom, OpenAI's Ghibli craze signals a troubling future for Hollywood. Oh, God. Okay. This is not even me being like holier than thou. Truly, I have never felt like excited to use AI. Like, I don't use ChatGPT. I don't know. I don't get excited and like am rushing to ChatGPT to produce a Studio Ghibli image of myself. Like, I genuinely don't get it. What is this excitement? Like, what? What's the fucking point? I know. It is baffling to me. It truly is baffling to me. God, you know what I need to play? Here's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play this video because I have seen too many tweets that are so disrespectful to the GOAT Miyazaki. Like, it is just, I don't know. I turned to Will the other night and I just said to him, I think we're done. I think that's it. He was like, what? And I said, civilization. It's like, huh? I go, the Studio Ghibli AI shit. People saying that Miyazaki's art is boring and that AI art makes it better. Like, I'm sorry. I really try not to say this too much because, you know, I'm all about radical optimism and hope, but we cooked. We cooked. What's happening? What's going on? What is going on? Any chatter in here saying they use Gen AI or stuff like Claude, you're literally moving the intellectual workload to a machine, getting worse results than if you had used your brain to begin with and destroying the environment to do it. And let me just say, okay, not everybody is meant to be an artist. That's why art is so special. And yes, there's a lot of people who want to be artists, and either they're not fucking talented, okay? I'm going to be like, I'm going to be the person who says it. They're not talented. You're not meant to be an artist. That's okay. Not everybody is meant to do every single thing. Not everybody is meant to be a creative professional. And the other thing too is obviously that there are people who are talented, but there are many obstacles, unfortunately, under the system of capitalism that keep people from getting to do art. So yeah, all of that. But I think what I've been seeing on AI is this sentiment that it's like, oh, now everyone gets to be an artist. Isn't this great? And so isn't it actually better that all of us get to be artists? And it's like, no, first of all, you're not. You're not an artist. You are using a program that is ripping art from artists. It's called theft. Okay? And the other thing too is that if everyone's an artist, then no one's a fucking artist. You know what I mean? Like, I do think I do not believe in gatekeeping art as far as like gatekeeping it only for the rich, only for those who have the means, the connections. Like, that type of gatekeeping is bad. But as far as like gatekeeping it from people who do not put any thought and care into art, who have no like they're not creating something that is coming from them, then yes, I do believe in gatekeeping it. I do. And look, I would rather you make something on your own, even if it's slop, because at least you made it on your own. Okay? At least you made it on your own. Rather than all these bozos, further contributing to our climate decline by chat GPTing a Studio Ghibli image of Elon Musk. It makes me want to die, not to be dramatic. I kind of get it. I'm very artsy, but not talented at all. The fact that I can generate a digital painting without effort is very alluring, and I have to stop myself out of principle because I know it will ruin art and the jobs of artists. And I also see the value of art in the artist's expression and the way that they spent decades mastering their craft rather than the art itself. I appreciate your honesty. I am not a good artist, but I would rather study the work of artists, practice art. Like, if this was something that I really wanted to do, if I really wanted to draw, then I would work at it. And there's like pleasure in learning a craft. There's pleasure in getting better, because you will get better. Not everybody is going to be Monet. Not everybody is going to be Miyazaki, but you can get better at your art. But that is not running to ChatGPT, generating these images, and then being like, I'm an artist. Do you really, like, are you really getting I don't mean this chatter. Are you really getting satisfaction? We should just do art because it's human activity to express our humanity. Yes, let me clarify. Okay, maybe my statements came across as like that I don't think you should do art if you're not talented. I just mean that if you're not talented, it probably will not, well, unless you're Nepo baby Jonah Platt, it probably will not be a career for you. And that's okay. Like, I talk all the time about the power of theater, of creativity, where I'm like, I think everyone should take an acting class. I think everyone should have an outlet to express themselves. And I do reckon with the fact that capitalism our art suffers under capitalism because of the commodification of it. These are all things that I have said before. My comments are really directed at, let me just be clear. My comments are directed at these fuckers on a place like Twitter. And I see them everywhere now. It's these tech guys who are calling themselves AI filmmakers, who are saying that they're AI artists. And it's like, no, actually, I want to gatekeep then art from you because you are not an artist. That's who I want to gatekeep from. So I would rather somebody creatively express themselves without needing to steal the work of someone else, without putting it into a machine and having the machine generate it for them in the way that AI does. I would rather, if creative expression is something that you seek, which is good, I do believe in that. I do. Then you should do that. But do not call yourself an AI filmmaker. Do not try and profit off of AI. That is where I have a problem. The overly serious posts from AI filmmakers are captivating in a car crash sort of way. It is. It's fascinating because they take themselves so seriously. It's not a meme. It's not parody. Not everyone can paint, but everyone can be an artist. Anyone can learn crochet or making birdhouses. Yes, there is something creative for everyone. I do believe that. It's not going to be the same thing for everyone, but there's so many ways to express yourself creatively, and I will always be the biggest proponent of people doing that. I will be the biggest proponent of living in a society where people are able to have creative hobbies, that they are able to express themselves through the arts and be able to do so because they're not being crushed. They're not being crushed under the costs of living. I want to live in a world where everyone gets to do art, good or bad, right? It's something that you just have as an outlet. AI artists just think art is a product that resembles an idea they had, but the whole point of art is the human creation of it, not just a product to sell. Yes, and I just do not, I do not see myself moving on this topic. So I hope I clarified that. I do not want people to have taken away from what I said, that of, if you're bad at art, don't do art. No. Remember during the pandemic when we had that big creative boom, people were doing all sorts of hobbies. Yes. People were making bread. They were knitting. They were doing creative stuff. Anyway, let's watch this.
Hayao Miyazaki is one of the most influential artists of our time. Not only is he the only anime creator to ever carve out a home in Western pop culture, but his track record is unmatched, releasing masterpiece after masterpiece without ever once compromising on quality across his entire 4-decade-long career. Writing and directing 11 feature films with another in the works, he operates on a level all of his own. Being such a legendary and private artist, it's hard to imagine him.
As an artist and someone who's used AI to test its limits, there's a level of specificity and abstraction that AI just cannot generate because of the nature of its core functions. You'll always need artists and filmmakers for anything above generic content. Yeah, and it's why I want to run into traffic when I see posts that are like, soon we won't need humans, right? That is the problem. It's not that I think AI is just completely evil. It's the way that it's being used, and the way that the future we're looking at of AI replacing human labor. And in something like art, that is devastating. And it just also simply can't happen. It cannot happen. So if someone trained their AI models solely on their own artwork, it would be ethical then. I mean, certainly there's a case to be made there that is more ethical. I mean, I don't know why, obviously that's a hypothetical, but why if you're an artist, like, that you would have AI do your art, but you should still disclose that, you know? If you're bad at art, do more art. One of the things I learned is you always think you're bad, and as an artist, you always try to run away from your untalented self, not realizing you're actually getting better and better. Hungry Brain, thank you for the 10 months. Yes, I fully believe this, and of course, you know, I talk all the time about the failed performer to alt-right pipeline, where because of the commodification of art under capitalism, that people who have this creative want, who want to succeed as artists but have not been able to do so, oftentimes turn down a very insane path. Even if you're training off yourself, you'll progress and grow, and unless you constantly feed that machine all your newly created art, it will go stale. But yes, I mean, I think just in that hypothetical, sure, it's more ethical if you're using your own art, because that's yours. These models need millions of data points to generate reliable results just by adding yours to an existing database. You're already using a pre-trained model. Yes, I guess this hypothetical would be very specific, where like you are not, it's a very specific model that's pre-trained only on your work. As AI tools get more and more powerful, there's absolutely will be a spectrum of expertise on how to use the tools, and I can conceive of someone being so good at using AI tools that they cross over to artists. 90% of what you're complaining about was being complained about when digital art became a thing, and even when that modern art became a thing. No, it's not. Modern art, there were people alive during Van Gogh who said his work wasn't art. Say no to no. You're doing false conflation there.
Struggling.
I'm not buying into that. No. Yeah, that somebody who's very good at using AI tools is not the same thing as the work of Van Gogh being considered, not being considered an artist because his art form was, like, his style of him doing his art was different. That's insane. And look, I know that there's people in here. There's people in here who will fight me tooth and nail on this. And I have said repeatedly that I do not think technology is what is evil. I do not think that the AI tech is the problem, is the main problem here. It's like when Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the head of DreamWorks, said that in 3 years, 90% of human animation jobs will be obsolete. It's like, oh, we won't need humans anymore because it will be much cheaper to replace them with AI. So, bye.
Create. But thanks to NHK World Japan, we're given a peek behind the curtains in the form of a documentary spanning 10 years of Miyazaki's career. The series documents everything from the inception of Ponyo to the release of The Wind Rises, and gives an in-depth look at Miyazaki's creative process. To my great...
Like, okay, last thing. I would rather, if you're in this community and you want to make fan art of me, I would rather that you do it, even if I ended up looking like Elon Musk, than generate a Studio Ghibli image of me and be like, Caroline, I made this of you. Please, I would rather you yourself make art of me, even if I ended up looking like Elon, okay? I'll draw a stick figure of you. Yeah. Yeah, no, don't make Elon inspired fan art of me. No, please.
Great surprise, I found myself
I'll be right
relating
back.
to Miyazaki's every struggle and every victory. Despite an unfathomable scale of pressure and responsibility, his experience is really not all that different to my own, and I imagine anyone's who's attempted to express themselves through an art form. Miyazaki is a man so full of wisdom that it leaks out in everything he does. Watching him work and listening to him speak has changed my perspective for good and taught me invaluable lessons on what it means to be an artist. Part 1. Finding inspiration. When approaching the monumental task of developing a feature film, Miyazaki's creative process begins with a single image or idea, the inspiration that will then bloom into an entire world brimming with life. But even the great Miyazaki cannot pull this idea out of thin air, like we all try so hard to do when we sit down with our coffees and our laptops and stare at a blank page. No,
yeah, this has now become a Miyazaki appreciation stream.
Instead, Miyazaki chooses to live his life with his eyes wide open, finding beauty in the benign. He taped a camera to the inside of his car just to review his daily commute because to him,
like that is just that's so beautiful, and that's so inspirational that he finds the beauty in the mundane, that he goes out into the world, he gets out from behind his desk when he wants to feel inspired, when he wants to drive, when he wants to, not force ideas by sitting there, but to find them out in the world. Like it's beautiful. Like truly, I actually feel seen seeing him describe that. Yes. What's your favorite Studio Ghibli film? I mean, I love Princess Mononoke so much. So much. And I love to see that film I saw it back on streaming, and apparently a ton of people have been watching Studio Ghibli films because of this whole AI thing. So that does give me hope. That does make me feel better that a lot of people are like, no, we are not doing this to Miyazaki. No, we are not erasing the work of this legend.
Inspiration is like dropping a fishing line into your mind. You aren't able to choose what is caught, but your job is to let it flow through you and out onto the paper.
Back in theaters.
Because of this, Miyazaki carries around a notebook with him everywhere he goes, that he fills with ideas and concepts that will most likely never come to fruition. But the very act of writing them down is important in and of itself. Even once Miyazaki commits to an idea, his search for inspiration is just beginning. Weeks will pass without any progress being made, but this doesn't worry Miyazaki. He knows that inspiration will come as long as he is actively searching for it. Rather than looking towards other works of animation, Miyazaki chooses to take in music, tours, and museums for inspiration. On one such trip, Miyazaki found a piece to be particularly interesting. Despite it having no apparent connection to his work on Ponyo, the thoughts and emotions it triggered in him led to a breakthrough in his work.
Well, Will and I go see it? If I have time, if it's
It
a
often
theater
takes
near me, I'd love
Miyazaki
to.
almost a year of work before even a single frame is complete. And despite drawing all day every day for work, he continues to find time to draw unrelated pieces out of no...
A year of work before a single frame is completed. And now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to follow the Miyazaki path, but what we're losing in this whole ChatGPT Studio Ghibli bullshit is an appreciation of the artist himself, Miyazaki, of like his dedication to his art form. And why when you watch Studio Ghibli films, like you see the care and the love and the craft that was put into it. And like that matters. It really does. And it has to matter. It has to matter. It's about the process as much as the product. It really has to matter. You know, you watch you watch any of those films, and even if it's like maybe the story doesn't resonate with you, but you can still appreciate the craft. You can still be in awe of how wondrous the art form is. You know, that like it elicits an emotional response even if the story doesn't necessarily resonate, but because of just how meticulously crafted Studio Ghibli films are. Mom, it takes Miyazaki 1 year before he gets to work. Leave me alone. Get off my case.
No incentive but the joy it brings him. It isn't until a solid foundation has been laid that Miyazaki will then force himself to create. Once the story is almost complete, he'll often isolate himself in another city to grind out the rest of the story. To Miyazaki, the change in scenery is a helpful tool for getting a bigger picture and overcoming any preconceived notions of what his film needs to be, like a fresh blanket of snow covering up the etched-in paths. So rather than sitting at your desk with your fingers on the keyboard, get out there and experience the world. Even if that means just going for a walk, it will make all the difference, because you never know what small image can grow into something much greater.
Yes, it's gorgeous. We are so obsessed with convenience and instant gratification. It's seeped into every facet of our lives, including art. Yes.
Part 2. Confidence. The most unexpected part of Miyazaki's process is just how much doubt and anxiety he experiences throughout every step of the journey. Whenever I picture a master of their craft working, I assume their years of experience provides them with an unwavering confidence in their own ability. What I failed to put in perspective is that the more experience one has, the more times they failed. Because of this,
it is a very intense feeling of vulnerability and insecurity because it's personal, right? It's personal to you, and you're putting it out in the world to be judged. And inevitably, you know, art is subjective, and there will be people who don't like it, or as a Twitch streamer, people who just hate you, and so they will hate anything that you do. Tell her the longer she waits, the more out of date it's going to feel when she releases it. She made the art and it should be released when it needs to be. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like the longer you wait, the more you're kind of over something. Like when I used to not finish screenplays and I would move on to, I would get another idea. I'd be like, I just got to work on this one. Then my other stuff that I had poured hours and hours into, I was like, ugh, hate this. Don't even want to finish it, when it's like, I should have just finished it. I should have just finished the damn script. I always think of M. Night. He doesn't give a fuck if people bully him. He keeps making movies the way that he wants. Yeah, he's writing off the he's writing off of Sixth Sense. But true, yeah, he's still making movies, still doing his M. Night thing. You know, that's me with writing a novel. I keep moving on to my newer ideas. It's very tantalizing. New ideas are so, it's like candy for a baby. It's like the white van that you can't help but to get in. You're like, I must get into this van.
In his mind, if people get bored during one of his films, it's game over.
You must push yourself until your nose starts bleeding and see what you create.
Part 3. Reality. Almost every word that comes out of Miyazaki's mouth is something to analyze and learn from, but one thing he said hit especially close to home for me. Even for someone as experienced as Miyazaki, having the idea is only the first step. Even the most brilliant concepts might not be possible to realize the way you imagined it. He's been known to work for days on a single image and then completely scrap it. He doesn't allow himself to fall victim to the sunken cost fallacy. Just because you've already put hours, days, or even weeks into a project does not mean that it is in your best interest to finish it. Sometimes the only way to create...
Literally the opposite of what I just said. Okay, now I'm going to respectfully disagree. After I just gave this speech about how, God, just finish the thing, you know? Just finish that book, finish that screenplay, finish that song.
Something special is to make attempt after attempt until the final product becomes an amalgamation of everything you've learned. It takes a team of over 100 animators and an entire week to create 5 seconds of final animation. Try to keep that pace in mind next time you're struggling to translate your idea into reality.
Did I paint that behind? No, it's an artist in this community, actually. That's why he's legendary.
Part 4.
Okay, yes. Not finishing a good thing out of procrastination is different, I think. Yes, procrastination or just getting distracted. There's so many things to distract. So many. I mean, you don't even have to be good to be appreciated as long as your intentions are honest and are coming from your love of art. Look at Ed Wood. His Plan 9 from Outer Space is hardly a good film, but is a cult film for a reason. Pushing yourself until your nose bleeds might include finishing the piece so you can rip it up and start fresh. Yeah. I would say, you know what I would say too is, I think especially when you're starting out as a writer, as whatever form, whatever art form that you are, that you're trying, that you're pursuing, I do think it's important to try and finish something, you know, because that is how you get better. But I think finishing a thing, so at least you have something that's completed, and you don't have to put it out. And like the thing about art too is that not everything is meant for the world to see. Not everything is meant for Twitter to see. Yes, like Elden Ring DLC that I have not finished, and I'm fully aware that I never finished it. But Miyazaki just talked about the sunken cost fallacy. He doesn't believe in it. So really now I'm actually going to be agreeing with Miyazaki when it comes to Elden Ring DLC that I did not finish and I put a lot of hours into. But as Miyazaki would say, don't just finish something because you put a lot of hours into it. Right?
Your own worst enemy. After years of
Look,
dedication,
I'm both sides. I'm a
hard work, and
centrist.
bit
Okay,
of
I'm
luck,
apolitical.
something you've created might resonate with a large enough audience that its success snowballs and turns you into an overnight success known for that one particular work. At this point, the hardest question you can ask yourself is what's next? How can you possibly continue to grow
Don't let
and evolve as
Hassan
an
see
artist
this.
while still pleasing your now dedicated fan base?
No, he doesn't
The line
need this
gets blurred
video to
between
not
making
finish
art to
games.
express yourself and just trying to please your audience. Although My Neighbor Totoro is what turned Miyazaki into the celebrity he is today, it has become a thorn in his side, a mountain he's created that he will struggle to top for the rest of his career. Miyazaki believes that talent is a finite resource that gets worn out by use day by day, unless you continue to push yourself into unknown territories. Making a film at the level Studio Ghibli does is like capturing lightning in a bottle, but having to continually top yourself every few years is a task bordering on impossible. Despite this, Miyazaki continues to push his own boundaries and test new mediums like pastels and CGI, even this far into his life. His only rival that he needs to best is himself, and although he might always be known to others as the creator of Totoro, he's proved to himself that he can branch out and create films of all genres, styles, and themes.
Suffering from success. Suffering from success. That is something, though, that we see a lot in the film industry. Like, I always think about Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, whose first film was... It was groundbreaking. Like, it is a film that's taught in Harvard. It is one of the highest grossing films to the small budget that Get Out had. And it won him an Oscar. And anyway, so there are filmmakers like that where out the gate they have maybe the biggest film that they'll have in their career. And the thing is, though, it's like it's not that you still can't create great things. Unfortunately, you're just now working with these expectations. Stock Guy, thank you so much for the raid. Monetize us, play an ad. No, here's how I'm gonna monetize you. I'm gonna make you finish watching this Miyazaki video on what it means to be an artist, and then you're going to go forward and you are going to become artists, and then I am going to take a commission. I am your manager now without managing you. It's a finder's fee. It's a finder's fee. So, shout out Stock Guy. Thank you again for the raid. I hope you guys hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. We are finishing up this Miyazaki video, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the great Val Kilmer, who I did cover yesterday on stream. If you wanted to check out, actually, no, I don't think. I don't think I posted that VOD, actually. I forgot about Val. Is Will okay? He's okay.
Part 5. Finding your purpose.
Also, I am not... let me just say, I am not normally a daytime streamer. I'm usually evenings around 5:30, 6 o'clock Pacific time. But I now have my own room. I have a stream room. And it has this piece of art here. This is my stream room. Welcome. And so because I now am not streaming out of the bedroom and therefore waking Will up, I will be doing morning streams here and there. I don't have a schedule yet of said morning streams, but right now I've been trying to do morning streams when I have something in the evening. like I have tonight. And so I will get my ass up early so I can be here. Evening hours are hard for me to watch on East Coast TBH. Yes, a lot of people who a lot of people who are EU, East Coast, Central Time. I know my streams are late. It's hard to catch them live. And there's magic in watching a live stream. You could always watch the VOD, but there's magic in watching streams live. So it's also nice to be able to catch the crowd that is sleeping when I'm normally live. Your talks are usually pretty productive, so morning would be good for you. You know, it's funny because like even when I've slept for 4 hours, like I did last night, there is an energy to morning streams where sometimes, because I do political and pop culture commentary, a lot of times I get to night and I'm tired. Not like I need to go to sleep tired. I'm just tired, you know? And sometimes it's really hard sometimes it's hard to give my thoughts. Keep giving my takes. There are certain stories in the news that I'm like, oh geez, do I want to cover this right now? Like I do, but I don't. So the power of the sun. Yeah. Your night streams have changed the way I live because I don't want to miss them. Okay, that is some dedication. But yeah, there is something about the mornings where I just kind of feel fresh, even if I'm underslept. And I also feel like maybe people are more, I don't know, maybe more open to looking at the news, kind of a start to the day type of thing, right? Where you get to nighttime and it's like, oh man, I just want to sit here and watch something silly. I was there last night too. Never stop streaming. Yeah, actually, that's going to be the new plan. I'm going to be like Emily CC, where I never stop streaming. Never stop streaming. What was it? Never Stop Pop, or Pop Never Stop. What was that fucking movie? What was that Lonely Islands film? Pop Never Stop. God, what? You know what I'm talking about. It's Never Stop Stopping. Yes, it is. Pop star. Jesus, now I'm having a stroke. Pop star. Never stop, never stopping. Yeah. Never stop, never stopping. The Caroline Kwan streaming experience. Twitch streamer, never stop, never stopping. Wait. So you never stop stopping. Yeah, okay. That's right. Have you and Will watched Seth Rogen's new show, Industry, The Studio? Yes, it is so good. I've already talked about it. I've already talked about it repeatedly. I have shown I have shown how this is very much so happening in studios like Warner Brothers. We're turning a corner with Minecraft. Please watch The Studio if you have not watched it. I will say this a million times. Watch The Studio, especially if you watch my streams. Everything, it will just all become that much clearer. Having you on while working is great. Pleasantly surprised seeing you online. That's me, the streamer who never stops, never stopping.
Seemingly obvious step in the creative process,
finding your
I believe
purpose.
It can take a lifetime of experimentation to figure out. For Miyazaki, his purpose for creating is the same as his purpose for living, to spread joy to those who need it.
So
and because his purpose is so
clearly
defined, he is literally willing to die to see it through. When the 2011 earthquake changed Japan forever, and its people were at an all-time low, Rather than mourn for what was lost, in the days following, Miyazaki insisted the studio remain working despite rolling blackouts and potential aftershocks.
If you're not willing to die for your art, shame. Okay, this is why even when the apocalypse is happening, we will be here streaming. Okay? We will be dying. We will be dying for our art.
He knew that now more than ever, people needed to feel the joy that only his unique talent could bring them. Throughout the documentary, almost every time we are shown Miyazaki working, he is pulling at his hair, shaking from stress, and muttering under his breath about how much of a hassle animation is. Despite the magical and joyful nature of his films, he feels as though he is forcing a smile in order to be socially acceptable. It's clear he finds the process to be tremendous.
He's so real for that. His films that have brought us so much joy, that have brought us so have changed our lives, and Miyazaki is like dying. He's ripping out his hair, he's smoking cigarettes, he's shaking.
Tremendously draining, especially in his old age. But after every film, and even every declaration of retirement, he can't help but dive right into the next project.
Of course.
Miyazaki and everyone he surrounds himself with are constantly drilling home the idea that the challenge is what makes it worth doing. Miyazaki himself saying that the most important things in life are hassles.
It's better to try and fail. Yes. No regrets. No regrets. Never be afraid to fail. Another word for practice. Indeed. Here's the link to that video. I got you. Watch the documentary about The Boy and the Heron production. I thought it was even better than this one. I have an even stronger air of mortality as Miyazaki soldiers on, but those who are around him throughout Ghibli's lifespan start passing on. Oh. Don't worry, though. We've got this guy, normie AI artist, comms open. Never fear, okay? We've got him. I love how him and Junji Ito are complete opposites. Like, one creates dark, terrifying art, but is a happy goofball. The other creates happy. Do you know one thing that I learned as I got into horror was like how many of my favorite horror filmmakers, horror artists are like very happy people where you think, okay, they must have this darkness in them. They must just be like, they must be like goblins, ghouls, and it's actually quite the opposite. And then Miyazaki, who creates happy, colorful art, and it's like, I want to die. A short but wonderful video on a specific aspect. I wonder if we watch this. Let's see. This is one of the greatest scenes ever animated. I think we did watch this before. Okay, I do have to leave in about 15 minutes, and I want to let me save this for another day, because trust, we will be talking about this again. We will be talking about this again. Okay, let's talk about Val Kilmer. All right. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, who passed away. The news broke yesterday that he died at the age of 65, which just feels so young. And the cause was pneumonia. He had been diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, later recovered from that, but it left his voice very damaged. And I don't think he had made a public appearance in the last 5 years. So his daughter Mercedes is the one who said that he had passed away from pneumonia. And so a lot of people are, of course, doing tributes to Val Kilmer, talking about their favorite Val Kilmer films. And I said this yesterday, but he was an actor who had leading man looks. He was very handsome. He just had this charm to him. And he had leading man roles. He starred as Jim Morrison in The Doors. He also played Batman. But he also was an incredible supporting actor. He had a string of films in very starry ensemble films. We watched a scene from Heat yesterday, the great bank robbery heist from Heat, which is unbelievable. And so he was one of those guys who was often described as having the gift that most actors wish they had, which is making his lines of dialogue sound improvised, which gave it this really realistic feel. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be a Huckleberry. I don't think I've ever seen a Val Kilmer movie. I'll have to look into his work. He's got a pretty extensive filmography. You haven't seen Top Gun? So he's in Top Gun, Batman Forever, Tombstone, Heat, The Doors, The Saint. There's a lot to choose from.
What's your problem, Kazansky?
XX Flick, thank you for the 3 months.
That's because every time you go up in the air, you...
I just tuned in. I'm working on an assignment that's due tomorrow, and it's 4 a.m. Should I request an extension? Yes. Tell them your grandmother, Caroline Kwan, is quite sick and that you need to request an extension to care for her.
You're unsafe.
I was glad I did. It was a lot of fun.
You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman.
It's a wonderful world, Gotham City. It's so big. It really was a pleasure.
I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain.
From The Doors to Top Gun's Iceman to Batman, Val Kilmer was a leading man for over 30 years. But in his late 50s, he was diagnosed with throat cancer and underwent a tracheotomy to help him breathe.
In The Doors.
One of his final roles was in Pay Dirt with his daughter, Mercedes.
I just want to be your dad now, if that's okay. Come here. I love you, Jamie.
My voice improved, and some bits are better than others. I intend to work until I'm 152.
Aww.
I want to play the oldest man on earth.
In his 2021 documentary, Val, which his son narrates, the actor said he sounded worse than he felt.
Though I healed quickly from the cancer, the extensive radiation and chemotherapy treatment that followed has left my voice impaired.
It's wild that his son's voice has it has elements of Val's voice. Like if you didn't know that that's his son, you might think that that's him.
I'm still recovering, and it is difficult to talk and to be understood.
And while he struggled with his health, Val still wanted to work. In 2018, he reached out to Tom Cruise and the producers of Top Gun Maverick so he could return to his iconic role.
Thomas Weller is jacket, the original jacket from the version of it. It was very moving. It was Tom and I just laughed like we were in high school.
He would be on set even if he wasn't in the scene. He just is such a positive energy.
I have to admit something. I hate that I find Miles Teller hot. Because he's such a douche. He is a douche. I think he's hot though. Okay? And I bet a lot of you do as well. Okay?
Energy. He's so full of life, and so to see him on set and chat with him was great.
And the
A
kind of
douche in
talent
real
that
life,
he
yes.
has, and you see that scene, it's very special.
It's just very special.
Yeah, I think the way you all handled the scenes with him was just beautiful. It really, really was beautiful. During the PK
There's one
Memorial.
particular scene between Val and Tom that just, man, right in the feels.
The Navy needs Maverick. The kid needs Maverick. That's why I fought for you. That's why you're still here.
Val's voice is pretty compromised at this point.
Okay, now this has turned into Miles Teller being a douche. This is about Val Kilmer. I'll just briefly say that Miles Teller himself has admitted that he earned his reputation as a douchebag, and he gave many interviews where he was an extreme douche lord. And on the set of oh god, what was the series of the making of The Godfather? There was an Esquire story or something, or Hollywood Reporter or something that came out, and it just further cemented his reputation as a real douchebag.
And but you could tell his energy was still the same, and he was very playful and excited, and you could tell he was so excited to be back among these people because that day Tom was
The
there.
offer,
Obviously,
yes.
you could tell the feeling of that
John Hamm, another
nostalgic
douche people are
reunion energy
attracted
was
to.
all very much there, and he was participating in that a lot. It was great to see him.
You need any help? With what? You figured it out yet?
Val, who played Tom's nemesis in the original blockbuster, took these home movies behind the scenes
God,
during
what a
filming
hottie.
in San Diego.
What a hottie.
E.T. was on set.
What do you think it is about Top Gun that's going to make it Top Gun?
I think the cast and the direction and the producing. I haven't seen the film, but I was there when it was happening.
He just was like tall and handsome. Looked like a rock star. I mean, the fact that he played Jim Morrison, who was a rock star, was perfect because he himself had real rock star vibes. And there was also something that was like, he was elusive, right? You know how we talk about all the time that there are no movie stars these days, that every celebrity has just, the mystique has been removed because of social media. And you can just watch a TikTok video of some A-lister eating ice cream with their kids. And back in the day, you had people like Val Kilmer who they were mysterious. They were elusive. It was like, who is he? He's so handsome. Love his movies, but was coy, you know?
Tremendous group to work with, and I think that that'll show on the screen.
You know, in the first one, I really
could have played father-son.
rallied hard for him to make the movie. And because I wanted him in the film, he's such a tremendous actor. And to have him play that character, it doesn't, you just got to go and tackle this guy. Because I was like, Val, you got to make this movie.
He manifested a backstory for him, where he had a father who ignored him. And as a result, was driven by the need to be perfect in every way. This obsession with perfection is what made him so arrogant. I would purposely play up the rivalry between Tom's character and mine off-screen as well. And what ended up happening is the actors, in true method fashion, split into two distinct camps. It was fun to play up the conflict between our characters, but in reality, I've always thought of Tom as a friend.
My father was in the Air Force, so I heard a lot of flying stories. Most of his are terrifying, though, so the fascination of, I've flown since I was very young. But I was excited to be able to get to see an aspect of the Navy that civilians can't see.
Can we get a gay Top Gun? Not that Top Gun isn't gay, but you know what I mean. Like a real gay Top Gun starring Austin Cho. Punish Casimir, thank you for 6 months.
Please. Whoops.
Top gay. Top gay.
Really gotta get you out of those clothes.
Excuse me?
When Michael
Top
Keaton
gay.
turned down Batman Forever, Val took on the role of the
So
Cape
Top
Crusader.
Gun.
I just said yes without
Bottom
reading
gun?
the script. I enjoyed the first two very much.
Did
It's
you?
a different kind of movie.
Very nice costume. I don't have to wear it all the time.
Gay Top.
Dark kind of day. That design his whole performance. And so that's him there.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Was that over the top? I can never tell.
Selfish Top Gun.
No difference what I was doing. I tried to be like actor on a soap opera. Oh, how many times I put my hands on my hips. I don't know how they come up with this kind of acting, but they seem to go over the soap opera school.
Man, there's just something so depressing about a great performer, a great artist who loses something that is so important, a tool that is very important in their work. Like losing your voice, losing your ability to speak as an actor, and an actor who's an actor like Val Kilmer. That's tough.
Showing his full range as an actor, Val used his own singing voice to play the legendary Jim Morrison in The Doors.
Strangely, I was given a book about Morrison several times in the last 6-7 years, and I never read it. Most of the time I threw it out.
I would watch videos to study Jim's movements. And memorize them, so the way he moved was the way I moved at all times.
Sometimes you get homework and you, sorry dear, you have to hear Light My Fire another 500 times, or whatever the job was the next day. I'm very sincere about my work. I love it. Very lucky to do it, and I've worked with some extraordinary people.
Tonight, let me worship you in my arms.
Get away from me!
I love you.
Val was married to his Willow co-star Joanne Whalley for 8 years, but before that, he was all about Cher.
Yes!
The pair dated for over 2 years despite a 13-year age difference.
I mean, he's much younger than I am, but so and neither one of us were.
I forgot about this relationship.
Looking for anything. We weren't looking for anybody, and it just kind of, it kind of just happened.
Later, Val developed a crush on his Alexander co-star, Angelina Jolie.
Duh.
He kidded with us that she had a way of driving men mad.
I've seen Angelina do that to
She drives
several
me
men.
mad.
She just drives people crazy. I think she's an alien.
So
she's
beautiful.
Too perfect.
Val said being a father
She
to his...
does. How does someone look like Angelina Jolie? Oh my
His
God.
2 kids, Jack and Mercedes, was his greatest joy in life.
I love my children very much. I try to
I think she's
be a
an
good
alien.
example
Otherworldly.
about life, yeah.
We were talking about things that are scary, and you said the only things that you were afraid of were your dreams. Not many things scare me, but one thing kind of is, it's not exactly scary, but one thing that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about making a really beautiful home for you and Jack in New Mexico. Me and my shadow.
Val was shy. He never really accepted the label of being a Hollywood star and was content spending his final days in LA and New Mexico, focusing on his art and living a quieter life.
I have behaved poorly. I have behaved bravely. I have behaved bizarrely to some. I deny none of this and have no regrets because I've lost and found parts of myself that I never knew existed. And I am blessed.
For a long time with interviews, I was afraid. I was just nervous or afraid that somehow my own life would get given away because you give so much in acting, or at least I don't really like the kind of storytelling that doesn't cost something.
It's odd how many movie stars retire in New Mexico. I mean, I think people really burn out on LA. It's like they'll do their work here, but they want peace and quiet, especially actors as they age, wanting to just be out of the public eye. I mean, New Mexico is where Gene Hackman and his wife had retired to, both of whom passed away recently. So, yeah, I get it. I mean, I love LA for the reasons I love LA, but if I were massively in the public eye as an actor, as a celebrity, it would become exhausting. And the reality is that a lot of actors don't want to be celebrities. Not every person wants to be plastered all over the magazines. You are filibuster. But not every person wants to be plastered across the magazines. They don't want the celebrity aspect of Hollywood to overtake their work. You know, they don't want to be known for anything outside of their work. Retired celebrities yearning for the desert. Yeah. Some people just want to make a movie and exist. They do. They just want to do the thing that they love so much and have that be it. You know, they do not want to be on social media. They do not want the media to be all over them. They just want to do their art and that's it. Yeah, just move to French Polynesia like we did. I've noticed this LOL like Montana and stuff. Isn't that where Robert Redford lives? I don't know where he lives, but that sounds right. My grandparents bought in LA in the 70s, and it was a huge thing to buy land in New Mexico in the 80s and 90s. Desert for the elderly, mines for the children, humanity solved. That's right. As soon as we throw all the old people in the desert and all the kids in the mines, then finally society will be fixed. That's right. All right, everybody. I got to skedat because I got to go film my podcast. I've sadly lived under a rock and haven't seen the vast majority of his movies, but his passing is extremely moving to me. I'm blessed to still have my father, who's a handful of years older than him, but in moments like this, I'm sure many to their own parents and folks like this, I should really sit down and watch his doc with my parents. Also, ask your parents, like, if there's any Val Kilmer films they loved, you know? It's a good way to connect with them. Be like, show me your favorite Val Kilmer film. You know? Thanks for the stream. Looking forward to more morning streams. Yes, as I said, I don't have a specific schedule. It kind of it's kind of a thing that I'm doing when I have a thing at night. Oh, I also have a thing Thursday night. So I will be live tomorrow as well. So okay. Tonight, or assume this morning, tomorrow I'm going to have to do another morning stream because I have another thing Thursday night. Friday, I feel like the weekends I probably want to do my night streams, you know. What else am I doing on weekend nights anymore? But yeah. Get some sleep this time. Look, Miyazaki doesn't sleep, okay? And I'm trying to be like Miyazaki. So Miyazaki would be like, get less sleep, actually. Sleep less. You're sleeping too much. 4 hours? That's 3 hours too many. I was really hoping for the KSG interview last night. Oh, you must have missed it. You must have missed it. I'm sorry. I couldn't post the VOD, but it was in there. And it was great. It was pretty crazy. All right. Who is live? Who is live? Let's see. Who are the morning streamers here who I am going to raid? Maya. I'll send you guys to Maya. There you go. Thank you so much for joining me for another stream. I hope y'all had a good time. I certainly did. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, Maya doesn't even game, so make sure you go in there. Make sure you go in there and and say if she doesn't game with me, then she's not a real gamer. Yeah, Maya, who definitely didn't call me a gamer. No, for sure. But if she wants to prove herself as a gamer, then maybe we need to game together. You know? Make Maya game again. Make my game make my game again. All right, you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your night. I will see you later, Gators.